What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another day, another episode of 30 NSG. On today's show, we're going to be talking about Todd Howard. He was on Kind of Funny Games with an interview, and there's an article here from IGN taking bits and pieces from that. So Todd Howard seemingly teases two unannounced Fallout projects in the works. So we'll go over that document as well, that article. We're going to talk about Alan Wake 2. Still hasn't earned back its budget. And then we're also going to watch a video from Greg Owen, who's a YouTuber. He's got 47.9 thousand subscribers. He talks about Star Wars Outlaws as a typical AAA games trash. I watched a little bit of the front part of this video, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to save this for the stream, and we'll watch the whole thing. It's about 21 minutes long, so we'll watch that a little bit later in the show. If you guys like what I do here, we just cover news stories, gaming topics, entertainment news, just random topics back and forth with chat. We do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till about noon Eastern. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And if you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We do uploads, live streams, podcasts, gameplay, shorts. So lots of different stuff on this one channel. We also have another channel called Nerding with 30 where I do entertainment stuff. I'm thinking of different ways I don't have time to make that other show on Fridays because usually the weekends I hang out with my son, hang out with my wife. So when I log off on Thursday, Friday, I do a podcast sometimes with Reforge. And then after that, I try to get a stream in on Friday nights, but it's really hard for me to do so. So I might go a little longer in the afternoons here and then kind of cut this off and then make a separate stream to put over on Nerding with 30. Still here on 30 NSG, but then it'll be a breakout videos for that, and it'll be in the morning. I'm going to try to figure out what day we want to do that on. So that's up in the air right now. So I appreciate it. Good morning, Stealth. What's going on, Stealth? What's going on, Stormkiller? Ghost Fixer, Travis, Eclipse, Dave Rose. Good morning. How's everyone doing? Thanks for showing up. Thanks for hanging out. Hope everyone's having a fantastic morning. Real quick, I just popped on to Twitter, and we're still calling it Twitter. I'm not calling it X. We're gonna watch this video of Helldivers. They have a little update here going on. I called this out a couple weeks ago when we were doing it. I guess about a month ago now, right? So let's watch this, shall we?
Freedom's greetings. I'm Coretta Kelly. New updates on the backfiring of the TCS in the Meridia system. Here's the latest. A preliminary investigation by the Ministry of Science reveals that the termicide initially worked, quote, as intended, eliminating 99.6% of the terminid population on all barrier planets. However, on Meridia, some of the remaining terminids not only survived, but actually began reproducing up to 20 times faster than before. Scientists are now calling the planet a terminid, quote, supercolony. The mutations caused by the termicide appear to be random, but according to the report, it is only a matter of time before the same reaction appears on the rest of the barrier planets. The Helldivers may be in a race against time to deactivate the TCS before this occurs. In other news, the disgraced scientists who developed the termicide have been taken into custody and are to be investigated for dissident infiltration. That's Liberty's latest. I'm Coretta Kelly.
So there you go. So inside of Helldivers, they basically the termicide that we were using is now basically making them reproduce 20 times faster. So now Meridia is now infestated with the things that you were trying to stop from happening, right? I love the way they're doing the stuff. I called this out on the podcast, on Reforge's podcast. I said, this is exactly how they should do the updates for Helldivers. It's brilliant, okay? It's within the lore of the game. It makes you feel like it's not a roadmap. You know what I mean? It just constantly gives you updates. You can jump back in if you want. It keeps the thing going. They've done a very, very, very fantastic job of the way they're marketing it. Also giving their roadmap as we go. You know what I mean? It's not a 6-month out plan. It's literally, hey, breaking news. This is what's happening on Meridia, super infestation, super colony for the Termicide, and we all have to rally up and take them out, right? So, I love what they're doing with that game. Water says, good morning, Water. Time to dive back in for democracy. Is that an official video? Yeah, it's from the Helldivers. Yep. Sure is, Jones. All right. Let's start off. It's always like make a game, sell a game, but they made a game, sell a game, but they're doing exactly what everyone else is doing. But they're making the live service aspect of the game part of the marketing of it. Do you know what I mean, Travis? And not everyone can do this. Not everyone can do what Helldivers is doing. Like, this wouldn't work for, like, Suicide Squad. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to get a news story, breaking news from Metropolis. You're not going to get that with that game. Their game is a very niche category to how the game is and the way they can market that game. Exactly, Rose. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. And again, not every other live service can do what they're doing. It's because it's part of... You know what it's like? Helldivers is like... And I'm going to make this comparison. I don't know if you're going to follow it. Okay? Helldivers is like Dr. Disrespect, right? Guy Beam is Dr. Disrespect. But Dr. Disrespect is his own character. It's like his own persona. It's like his other ego of what it is. And what he does is not what Guy Beam is doing. Okay? He's in that lore of what Dr. Disrespect is doing. So wherever he goes in public, he is Dr. Disrespect, right? He's in that realm. Okay? He doesn't break character. Helldivers, in the way they've created the game, it's a game, but they've created it where Helldivers is made by Arrowhead, but Helldivers is this world away from us in a galaxy far, far away, right? And they've created this persona of what Helldivers is, and the way they're creating the news and the lore about it, it works for within that game. Does that make sense? Right? They're all in. Their chips are all in on pretending to be this satire democracy state of what it is. So everything they do, from their tweets, from their updates, the way they talk, they never break character. They're in that character, okay? They're in that character the entire time. And it's brilliant. Damn it, we need a Bad Batch game like Helldivers. I don't know if they can still do the same thing that Helldivers is doing. Like I said, it works for Helldivers. Yeah, you could do like a news broadcast or something. You know, the separatists are moving in. We have to push them back. It doesn't... I don't know if it hits the same. It's like the real Starship Troopers movie, over the top, B-series at the same time, mixed with a little comedic timing. Exactly. Exactly. I mean, when your game is a bigger deal than even the company expected, it's impressive. Well, the thing is, even if, let's just say the same thing happened, like ODST comes out with a game just like Helldivers, or Bad Batch comes out, Star Wars. The problem is, Star Wars is so big, you already have a predetermined thing of like what Star Wars is. You're expecting certain things because you're not expecting anything from Helldivers. Helldivers is in this spot where it's not this huge IP. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, Helldivers could be they can make a TV show. They can make a movie from it, and then it becomes that next entity. But right now, it's this like small time, but yet big deal, right? And they can do what they want. It's in the perfect spot. I don't have any blips on my end, Quintara. If it's happening to you, just refresh. YouTube's acting funny sometimes for different people, all depending where you are. Yeah, because I on my iPad I have my stream popped up, and that's what I listen to here. So I'm not getting any blips or beeps or boops. Yeah. All right, so let's get to the first story. The beeps, the sweeps, the creeps. Yeah, baseballs. All right. So yesterday, kind of funny. Greg Miller interviewed Todd Howard. I like Todd. I know Travis doesn't like Todd. He thinks he's like a. Oh no, wait, Phil. You don't like Phil. You don't like Todd either. I forget. You don't like a lot of things, right? Yeah, they jam the radar. Raspberry. Only one man who uses Raspberry. Lone Star. Rose says he hates Todd. I like Todd. I like Todd just because the way, like, I understand why people don't like him, right? But I like his vision, and he sticks with it. Out of all the shit that he gets and all the stuff that he does, he still has a vision and completes that vision. And if you like it or not, that's each their own. Okay. Now he's like a car salesman. He's a good salesperson, but he's not a developer. I don't know, man. He's made some of the most iconic games that have been out there. If you like them or not, they're still iconic, right? Skyrim is still talked about today. Fallout, obviously because of the show, it's still talked about today, but it would still be talked about because of what it is. Starfield, even though it gets hated on, yet is still in the news cycle because the game, if it's broke on purpose or has problems on purpose, maybe he's playing 4D chess, I don't know, but all the games that he's created are still relevant. I don't think he made it in order to others to make it, then he took credit just like Jobs. No, the Fallout IP went over to them, but what they did with Fallout 3, Fallout 4, Skyrim, Morrowind, Oblivion, all those are all their games. He just comes off as pompous ass to me. I do agree, though. His visionary, though, has great ideas in his head. Yeah, I don't know. Happy Clown World Tuesday chat. Come on, Sarge. Where are you talking about? He made Elden Scrolls. Where are you talking about? He made Elden Scrolls. Oh, he's created some of the most iconic games that are out there. That's why I said it, Eclipse. Yeah, his visions and stuff that's happening, and now, with the TV show. So he was on Kind of Funny, and he had an interview with them, and IGN is taking bits and pieces. It's like an hour-long video. I was going to watch it, but I was just like, I don't know if, we would sit here and talk about it. If you guys want, I can do it maybe later on the show, but we'll see what happens, right? Or maybe I can push it off to another day. But Todd Howard seemingly teasing 2 unannounced Fallout projects. Now, Fallout 3 Remaster was previously leaked on FTC documents, which we brought up a couple of days ago. Okay, now with the Fallout TV series topping 65 million viewers to become one of the most watched Prime shows ever, to pressure it on the most content set in the wasteland, and Bethesda is seamlessly ready and oblige. He says, in the new interview with Kind of Funny Games, director Todd Howard appeared to tease 2 unannounced Fallout projects, saying, we look at what we're doing with the Fallout franchise, and then we say, do we still feel good about it? I can't reveal it now, but here is a runway of Fallout as a franchise. Okay, he continued, when in Season 2 is happening, what are we doing on mobile? What are we doing on Fallout 76? What are we doing with this thing? What are we doing with all the other things? And that's all, and where are we landing? And again, if he could snap my fingers, we would have made them all by now, but ready. I would, but I can't. But then the main thing is, how do we deliver these things on high quality level? And that's always the most important. Now, obviously, that's a joke, right? Because a lot of people that shit on Bethesda, they never give us high quality. But at the same time, they kind of give us high quality because there's something about Bethesda games, right? There's some reason. The people that like Bethesda games love Bethesda games, right? Greg Miller brought up, when he goes to conventions, he remembers back in the day when he worked for IGN, and he would show up to the conventions and the Summer Game Fest, the E3s, and Bethesda would have this giant booth. And Greg Miller was like, man, I was ready to go, like, oh, what does Bethesda have? And he would go up to the booth to play some games, and they wouldn't have their games there. They would have merch, okay? They would have T-shirts and sweaters and jackets and memorabilia, and there was lines wrapped around the building, he said, okay? He said it was jam-packed all the time. He says, and that's the type of fans that love Bethesda games. And that's 100% true. There's something about it, right? As much shit as I give the problems that were with Starfield, I still put in almost 200 hours into Starfield. There's something about Starfield that just clicks with me. Now, it's not meant for everybody, okay? Fallout 3, Fallout 4, people put in years into these games playing them, not just developing them. Okay, people play it more than they actually put the development time into it. Okay, Skyrim, to this day, they released it like 17 times. Okay, because people love what it was. Okay, but there's something about Bethesda games. So he says, Howard's oblique comments appear to suggest that at least 2 projects are in development, though. It's unclear what they might be, and there's also be released. Okay. Now, one of the projects that may be Fallout 3 Remaster revealed in the documents accidentally published by the Federal Trade Commission during the court case, which also leaked the Oblivion Remaster and other projects. Now, the remaster did not have a formal date, but appeared to be targeting fiscal year 2024, which ends in June. Now, Howard also said that Fallout 5 will be arriving sometime after Elder Scrolls 6, and that he used one pager for this project. With Elder Scrolls 6 seemingly still in pre-production, though, Fallout 5 may not appear until 2030 or later. Now, in the meantime, Bethesda recently released a long-awaited Fallout 4 next-gen update, which stirred controversy about breaking various key mods, amongst other issues. Now, Bethesda also confirmed that those who own Fallout 4 via the PlayStation Plus collection do not get the next-gen update for free. Now, one way or another, demand for Fallout is higher than it ever thanks to the success of the show, and Bethesda is seemingly doing its best job to keep up elsewhere. And we talked about Howard in its very own interview, where he clarified some of the big questions for Fallout's timeline, amongst other issues. So he goes into the show. I don't want to spoil it, because if people didn't watch the show, because if they released it week by week, we wouldn't have this conversation. But because they dropped it all at one time, you don't know where people are and what people have watched, so I don't want to ruin it for anybody as far for the Fallout show. Now, as far as what the Fallout series is, now, again, this little part here where he talks about there's 2 things they're working on, okay? Where's that quote? Okay, we look at what we're doing with the Fallout franchise, and then we say, is this still good about it? Can I reveal it now? But here are some our runway for Fallout as a franchise. So they're talking about something with the mobile, something with Fallout 76. He says, when Season 2 is happening, what are we doing on mobile? What are we doing with Fallout 76? Now, obviously, Fallout 76 takes place, it's a prequel to the TV show, but they did put stuff into the game based on Vault 33. Obviously, they can do whatever they want. It's their IP. Now, they also talked about what story is the right story to tell inside of Fallout TV series. He says, when you're playing the games, each person has their own story, right? You can choose what you want to do with certain things in the game. So, like, what's the right story? So when they adapted for television, they kind of try to put themselves in the place of the player, but at the same time, it's never going to sync up exactly what you want, because each of us played the game differently, and that's what's the cool part about Bethesda, right? And he also talked about in Starfield, right? Greg Miller asked him a question. He's like, how do you make these games where you put all the stuff in that gets criticized, right? Like, you have the building mechanics, you have the shipbuilding. In Fallout, you have the base stuff in Fallout 4. You have the Fallout 76 with the multiplayer. You have all these different things. How do you do what you do, even though you get the criticism? And Todd, as honest as could be, I'm paraphrasing here, was like, we just do it because people love just walking around the world and watching a sunset. And if you want to do that, you can do that. If you want to go around collecting junk, you can go around collecting junk. If you want to build a spaceship or whatever, you can do that. They say we put it in the game because we know there's different people that like to play these games. And if you're a person that just wants to play the main story, you can play the main story. And I think that's why I like Bethesda games, right? I like Bethesda games because there's just times that I log into a game and I don't want to do anything, but I just want to kind of be in the world. And that's why I like open world games myself. Now, I understand it's not meant for everybody, but I do love that in Starfield, if you just wanted to be a spaceship designer, you could do that, right? If you wanted to be a Han Solo type character, you could do that. If you wanted to just play the side mission and stop playing, or just travel the solar system, you could do that, right? And everyone looks at that and says, well, that's stupid. There's nothing to do. But that's the thing. In Bethesda games, there's so much to do that it's overwhelming for a lot of people. But when people are gamers, they want to have something to hold their hand to be like, please tell me how to do this thing. And that's not what their games are. And that's why a lot of people look at this and go, I don't like it. Now, on top of that, there's the jankiness and the bugginess of what Bethesda does. But again, sometimes it's just the charm thing that they have. It's funny when a glitch happens or something. But overall, all of the all of the Fallout games, Vegas, Fallout 3, Fallout 4, Fallout 76, Fallout Shelter, right? Even the older ones are beloved by a lot of people. So I think it was an interesting interview. He says a lot of other things that you could like pull in between what him not saying something is saying stuff. And it's hard to put that in context, me saying it to you. But if you watch the video and you watch the interview, it's really about 40 minutes long. It's an hour long, but with the commercials and stuff like that Greg does. It's a really good interview. If you guys are interested in watching on the stream, let me know in the comment section down below or in the live stream, and we'll do that. These are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. What do you think about the Fallout projects that are coming up? Do you think they're just going to continue to see? Obviously, Fallout 76 they got a 5-year plan moving forward, which it gets at least another 2 seasons, I would think, out of the Fallout show, where they can go kind of cross-promote, even though it's not in line with it. In the timeline. I can't even say that word. Thanks, COVID. And then also with like Fallout Shelter on mobile, what are they doing with that? I said yesterday, was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. They could easily kind of give an update in Fallout 76 where all of a sudden they do some sort of cataclysm event like they did in World of Warcraft, where it changes the landscape of the land. Maybe you like another bomb falls. Who knows? Maybe all of a sudden you get cryogenically frozen and it pushes you into the future. Who knows, right? Just awesome that you can do whatever they want in this series and what they want to do in the games. Again, these are just my thoughts. If you like what I do here, please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. All right, let's see what you guys are saying. Let's go on, Roadkill. Hit that like button. Game of a decade, 16 times the detail, 1,000 plants are buzzwords. Sure. But at the same time, I personally don't look at those buzzwords as the key selling point, right? Those are to set expectations, and most expectations are smashed because people's expectations go above and that. You say 1,000 plants, like, wow, did you imagine what we can do with 1,000 plants, right? Like that type of stuff. 16 times the detail, I mean, could be minuscule things, but yet it's 16 more times the detail. You know, I hate those buzzwords, but I also don't base the entire game off of one word coming from a person's mouth. 30, did you hear that CD Projekt Red took another shot at the company? It seems that they learned nothing. Took a shot at what company? The clip says, you're so wrong. When you started, was only like 20 people, and he was one of them. Do research before you talk crap. Oh, yeah, Todd Howard? Yeah, Todd was a developer. He just got promoted. What you do in your career. And then he became the idea guy. L says Starfield was trash. I mean, that's false, but I mean, obviously it's speculative. Subjective, I should say. Not speculative. Subjective, because if you don't like it, that's cool. Sarge says if Starfield had more Skyrim flavor to it, then it would be better. But they went a different direction, and it didn't hit as well. He actually says that in the interview. He says that if people were looking for it to be a Skyrim or a Fallout, it's not that game. They went in a different direction, is what he actually says in the interview. PL says Fallout VR for PlayStation. Travis says, I have, and I know people who worked there, and they said they did next to nothing. Well, obviously, if he did next to nothing, he got promoted, huh? So I guess he did less than everybody else to get promoted. I guess that's always good. You know, it's always about what you know and who you know, so. What's going on, Argus? Good morning. Fallout needs a collaborative with Fall Guys, the Fall Guy and the Fallout Boy. Oh, that'd be interesting, Ron. I know you're joking, but that would be interesting if they put the Fallout Boy in Fall Guys. That'd be interesting. Bethesda excels at wasting at time waster games. It's not an insult. It's just how it is. Yeah, but that's what they are. Like in your statement that you just said, it's like saying that EA and Madden excel at sports games that are the same every year. Well, that's exactly what they are, right? They excel at making sports games. Bethesda excels at making open world games that you can do what you want in that game. Sarge says, this is why I have 5 full playthroughs of Skyrim. L says, replaying New Vegas still is a masterpiece. Oh, and he actually says, a lot of people are like, Greg Miller goes, we know you hate Vegas. We know you hate Obsidian. And Todd goes, well, you do know we did publish that game, right? He's like, so why would they hate it? And they were joking back and forth. So people that always say that Todd Howard hates Fallout New Vegas, but yet Bethesda published the game, they're the ones that said, go ahead and make it. It's just to sit down and play. You'll play for like 7 hours, accomplish nothing, but that's okay. It's fun just to explore. But that's not a problem, though, Travis. If you want to play the main storyline, you can and get stuff completed and put the game down and never come back to it. I literally beat Fallout 3 by accident in I think it was 5 hours, 6 hours. If you want to play the main story, you can play the main story. If you don't want to play the main story, there's thousands of stuff, hundreds and thousands of hours that you can put in. Ubisoft saying claiming Skull and Bones was a quadruple A game. Guess that means all of our games are quadruple A. I don't know about that. Machiavelli says Starfield was vanilla mods made the game fun on PC. I think the game itself, if you played, each their own, but if you played Starfield and you played the side quests, I think people enjoyed the side quest more and the way that it is. If you just beeline the main story, main quest, which we did both, right? I played all the side quests and then we just beelined. And I understand why people don't like Starfield because of the way they played it, right? That's what it is. What's going on, Hilly? Morning. What's going on, Paul? As soon as Bethesda RPGs start going linear and the streamline, they're dead. But I don't think they would ever do that. Do you, Paul? Do you think that they would start going linear? I mean, all their games are very open wide. You can do what you want. They don't hold your hand. They don't want to hold your hand. Why did Todd say you can unparallel freedom in Starfield that's misinformation, misled? In what way, though? You literally can do whatever you want in that game within the parameters of the game, but you can, if you just want to travel space and explore, you can do that. So what, it's unparalleled compared to a lot of other games. I'm not saying there's not other games out there that do the same thing, and maybe they do it better. No Man's Sky, you could travel through 1.8 quintillion planets, right? Star Citizen, you can do a lot of exploring as well. Vampire Survivor took a shot at Ubisoft at the Direct yesterday. They called their new update a quadruple A update. I'm not saying like an insult. I'm just saying that what the games are. 85 degrees outside. It's a time waster game. But in your statement, Travis, all games are time waster games. All games. Hal says, does Starfield have some kind of secret sauce that requires you to play the game to understand why it's good? I'm asking because every time I watch the game, it looks so boring. Bethesda games, I don't know how to describe it, House. Right? There's something about, like, Lono asked this question when we were on his podcast. He's like, why are you still playing Fallout 76? Or why should I play Fallout 76? And it's about the world building. It's about showing up to a location, having a conversation with an NPC, going on a trek, right? A fetch quest. Okay. And then reading the documents and hacking the machines and figuring out what the story was with this vault or this area and what was the story of it. That's what it is. Skyrim's the same way, Fallout's the same way, Starfield's the same way. They're all the same. That's the recipe for it. They've never come out and said, we want to be the best game ever created, right? Todd Howard has always specifically said that he's making a game that's different than every other game, and it is. If it's No Man's Sky had Starfield's gunplay, it would be a game of a century. Yeah, No Man's Sky needs a better shooting mechanics and stuff like that. And a lot of people are like, well, if Fallout just gets rid of the creation engine, then they'd be a better game. I disagree. I think what makes the creation engine, or what makes Fallout and Skyrim and all their games, is the creation engine. And if you don't like it, then you don't like it. I mean, there's romantic comedies out there. There's action films. There's dramas. Some people just don't like dramas. Some people just don't like comedies. Some people just don't like, that mushy stuff. But at the same time, yet there's people and they're still successful. Imagine that. Hate what you want on Bethesda, but they have more people playing now than they did at launch. They have more people that are playing Fallout 5. Fallout 76 has been in the top 50 the entire time it's been in the ecosystem of Xbox. Okay, since it launched. Right? Their games are successful. If you don't like them and saying they're not successful are two different things. They are very successful. And there's a lot of people that don't like them because they're not that traditional game. Some games tell unique stories. Bethesda, meanwhile, I have never heard anyone say, oh, it's an amazing story. It's just, oh, it's a fun world to explore. It's all about what you're looking for. But that is the story. You understand that, right? Exploring the world of the Fallout is the story, is what the game is. Rokill says, time is always moving. It depends on what you think of wasting or not wasting time. Exactly. Well, both Elder Scrolls and Fallout has better enemy varieties and bosses than Starfield. Sure. But at the same time, how do I describe this? Because when people were playing Skyrim, they had their issues with Skyrim, but yet there's more pros than cons. And as the time went on, more and more people liked Skyrim because more and more people found it, played it, bought the new version of it, found it for the first time, and started loving it, right? Morrowind and Oblivion were popular. Small, but they were popular. Huge games, okay? And yet when Skyrim came out, it went to the next echelon of sort of like what Elden Ring did for those types of games, right? So those games were very Dark Soul type games, or very niche, small, very popular within that crowd. But then when Elden Ring came out, it exploded into a bigger thing. More people found out what those games were. That's what Skyrim did for Bethesda. Right? And then when you look at it, and this is why you can't ever take one game and go to another game and compare a 1-to-1. Sure. We always talk about the bar. Now, the bar is set when Skyrim came out, and then Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 all came out, and there's a bar within themselves in Bethesda. And every time they've come out with another game, they've raised the bar. They've added stuff to the game. They've added different mechanics to the game. Starfield's added much. The ground base for Starfield is much bigger than any game they've ever created. Right? You guys understand that every time you land on a planet, borders or not, it's the size of Skyrim. Every map is the size of Skyrim. Now people will be like, well, yeah, but there's nothing to do. But do you understand that they raised the bar to what it is, where they could add stuff? They could continually add stuff if they want with DLCs and whatnot and change things over time. Sort of like what they did with Fallout 76. Fallout 76, there was no humans on the map, and now there is. And the places that you went to before have completely changed and are different now. There was a bed and breakfast I found in Fallout 76 that was abandoned and whatnot, and now there's a couple that actually owns the bed and breakfast inside of Fallout 76, and they've completely changed, right? The small changes, nothing dramatic changed, but the landscape of what the world is in Fallout 76 has changed because they added more stuff in the world. Travis says, I'm a person who goes, if your example, and you have to go, well, I'm making my own story for me as Jack Burton. That's because without making the story yourself, it doesn't have one. That's not true. That's not true in any shape or form. Me making a character of Jack Burton and pretending it's my own story is exactly why the game is good. You can make your own character. You can make your own story. You can do what you want. It's not holding my hand in any way, shape, or form. You not seeing that, Travis, is a problem with yourself, because the game is not a traditional, here's the main story. Like, if you want to play the game, a game, you can play the game. You can play the game, play the story, and go, it was okay. It is what it is. But if you want to live in the world of Bethesda games, you 100% can. You can dive in head first and get lost in the wasteland. You can get lost in Skyrim. You can get lost in Starfield. Starfield was a success on if you're going to pay $100. That's a full game of Steam to play early. If it's success, it's more than that. Then it dropped on Game Pass. I mean, it's definitely worth the price. Definitely worth the price. Now, could have stayed in the oven a little longer? Sure. Yeah, Morrowind is like my favorite game of all time. And whatever I think about it, I think it's all about the stuff I did. Stealing all the armors, you can make a lot of money. Exactly. Can I only see the titles, though? Yeah, you can only see the title. You know, the borders and stuff. I mean, during the investor call, they were saying that they had plans for 1, maybe 2 DLC packs before they shipped the full team to help work on Elder Scrolls 6. Sure. But at the same time, how many... Like, the game is gigantic for Starfield, right? It's gigantic. You can do what you want, but only if you want, right? I even said, I was like, why is there 1,000 planets? I said, it would have been better if there was like 10 planets, 30 planets, maybe 100 planets. I said 1,000 planets is a little ridiculous, right? You could do what you want. There's stuff out there. You remember in Fallout, was it Fallout 3? If you went to the edge of the map, okay? No one would really find this, but if you went to the edge of the map, you could go past the map and find an alien spacecraft there, where you would find the alien laser gun, okay? Until someone found that, nobody knew it was there, okay? It was this large, gigantic map that people all of a sudden are like, oh my God, there's something out here. Like, there's stuff in Grand Theft Auto that you could go under the water, off the island, go down to, I forget if it's like a submarine or a base or something, and you can hear someone's voice down there. It's absolutely nothing to do with the game. But at the same time, the fact that they put something in the game and someone finds it and goes, oh man, that's cool. There's someone like what does this mean? Right? They have these stories and people live in the world. There's no difference, okay, on what Grand Theft Auto Online's doing, okay, or just Red Dead Redemption in single player, not even online. I redact the online stuff. Just going around Grand Theft Auto in single player game and enjoying that open world, or Red Dead Redemption, is the exact same thing what Bethesda does with their single player games. Going around the world and exploring, fucking with the NPCs, following an NPC around. Do what you want. Video games are supposed to be fun. Mark your calendars. The Xbox Game Showcase, followed by Redacted Direct airs June 9th. June 9th. Am I still in town? Yeah, we're still in town. What it seems like Bethesda games seem to focus on are the aspect on open adventuring and just going through the completing the main quest. If you want to gamify it, then you can gamify it. You know what I mean, Water? If you just want to play the game, they do that for you. It's sort of like Call of Duty just putting a story mode in there just to fill in the gap because you're going to play multiplayer the entire time. The side quests are much better in Starfield than the actual main story. Those are facts. Did you see the mod for Skyrim that lets you live chat, make the voice lines for the NPCs? So funny. I watched a girl play Skyrim where she can interact, and the actual NPCs comment back to her, like she's living in the Skyrim world. It's pretty wild. Starfield should get much better over the years, assuming that they support it. Even if they don't support it, even if they put 1 or 2 DLCs and that's it, I still think it gets better with the quality of life that they do with it, because they'll update it, right? Now, obviously, I don't agree with the mentality of the game should come out and it should be complete, not come out a year later and make quality of life options that should have been in the game at launch. That's a different topic, different story. Okay, but games nowadays, this is the market we're in, right? No Man's Sky is a much better game now because of the way they do it. They just keep updating it. Cyberpunk is a better game now because they just keep updating it. Fallout 76 is a better game now because they updated it, right? Many games are better now than they came when they launched because they can update it. But at the same time, you as the customer are paying full price for the game when it launches, and it's not a full game when it launches. Paul says, going to say it, Starfield was part crapped on being an Xbox exclusive. Oh, sure, that has something to do with it. Yeah, GTA 5 was crashed alien ship underwater. Shipwrecks, airliners, water detail are insane. Yeah. But that's not the game though, right, Kylo? But it's in the game, right? Getting abducted on the mountaintop at midnight or 2 o'clock in the morning, or seeing a ghost in the middle of the desert, right? These are just extra things in the game that make you live in the game and explore and see stuff. And you're like, oh, that's cool. What does that mean? Now I see what Travis doesn't like Elden Ring. He wants story handed him. Yeah, some people, and this is not a dig at Travis, some people like their handheld, which is fine. There are games for people to be handheld, and there's games that are not. And people that like their handhold don't like open world games that don't tell you where to go or what to do. I'm praying they leave the procedural generation out of Elder Scrolls 6. Well, I mean, they are learning from what they're doing right now, Elnini, you know what I mean? So, maybe they learn. I mean, you say you don't want it, but let's say they did it right this time. Where all of a sudden now the land that's in Skyrim is 10 times bigger. Or when you go somewhere, it completely changes every time you go into something. The procedure generation, if they do it right, could be great. Would be better if they do it right. Argus says, it's rumored that the Redacted is the Call of Duty Black Ops Gulf War. If it's true, then get ready for more console wars online drama, since Call of Duty will be revealed through a primary on Xbox space instead of the PlayStation 1 this time. Let's see. It's a storytelling medium. Tell a story or get out. Who says it's a storytelling medium, though, Travis? There's plenty of games that don't tell stories that are video games. I play American Truck Simulator. There's no fucking story in American Truck Simulator. The story is that I'm a truck driver, and I'm taking a package from one point to the next. It's a very popular game, and there is no story. There's no dialogue. There's no quest givers. It's literally pick a thing that you want to haul and see if you can haul it. That's it. Okay? So to say that video games is a storytelling medium, either tell a story or get out, that is the most naive thing I've ever heard you say. There's a shit ton of games. Okay? What's the story? What's the story? Okay? What's the story in Mario Party? What's the story in Fall Guys? What's the quest giving that I'm taking in Overcooked? You can choose to drive normal, abide by the laws, think you're a real driver, or you can go crazy, speed, crash, delivery, and it means necessary. Exactly. Paul says, CSGO's story is amazing. Had me tear up. Redfall was a failure, and devs behind the game did not want to make it or force them. No creative freedom. That has nothing to do with. I don't know if you're Machiavelli. If you're talking about like Microsoft forced them to do it or Bethesda. Look, they wanted to get into the market, and we see other stories. And I'm gonna take Redfall and kind of put it into that other stories. The story is that companies are looking to have that internal revenue to keep coming in to make that live service game, right? Live service games are that moneymaker where if in a year, if you sell a game and over that year it sells 0 copies to 1 million copies, okay, or you have a live service game that sells less than 1 million copies, but at the same time charges $2 for a microtransaction, that's going to continue and get more money than the game that sold copies. This is what each company is doing. So Redfall was made because they wanted to make it a live service game, and they failed. Most games fail. Most movies fail. Most books fail. Okay? That's what happens in the arts. Okay? Lots and lots of failures happen. And then when one blockbuster happens, everyone goes around that, and they try to recoup that, and they try to recreate what they created. Travis takes are so questionable. Yeah, I mean, you say it, I'm gonna have to push back a little bit. If I say something, obviously I want someone to push back on me as well. That's what the conversation's about. Playing through MSQ or Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringer, and man, it's much deeper than I expected. Whatever, you can install if you what you guys want, but if your game has a shit story, then I'm done right there. Yeah, but the statement that you said, but for you after the whiteout moment that you put in there, okay? Video games is a form of entertainment, not a storytelling. Of all games have to have a medium of storytelling. What's the story in Star Wars Battlefront 2? What's the story? What's that deep, rich storytelling they're telling there? Right? What is that? What's the rich storytelling in a racing game? Now, if you don't like these games, cool. But to say that if it doesn't have rich story, yeah, but they put the story in, Travis. I'm talking about Battlefront, the multiplayer. There's no story. You go around and shoot things. Sure, there's a single player story in there. And if you just play that part and you're done, cool. But I don't want to see you inside a multiplayer game playing just for fun, because it has to have story for you. That's what you said. So you can't play any game that doesn't have any rich storytelling. Right? People play games for game mechanics. People play for story. People play to waste time. People play like Pac-Man, Tetris, Minecraft. Yeah, I really loved the story when I was a kid. That Pong, man, the storytelling in Pong was just so good. Like it was like a piece of art, and the way the pixel bounced between the two things. Oh, that story was just got me right here. The storytelling in Pac-Man, eating those pellets and eating the ghosts. Such a good story. So you've never played a game, Travis, that didn't have story? I hated Mario Party and racing games. Oh, but you play them then. You wouldn't know you hated them until you played them, right? Private House said, I forgot who said it, but a dev put it best when he says, I think games are best when they're not trying to be movies. Well, that's the difference between a movie and a video game, right? Like, I love watching movies and just watching the story of a movie. But a video game, I love controlling the character and making my own story. Sandbox and gameplay greater than story. I agree to a certain extent, Paul. Like, I love rich story games. But at the same time, I love a good open world game that I could just lose my time into. And if it has story on top of that, fantastic. I don't care about, like, for instance, I think the game I played the most in my entire life is Minecraft, right? Minecraft, it has a story now, okay? But for the most part, 99.9% of the people that play Minecraft don't play Minecraft because of story, right? They play it because of what the world is. Destiny, I could care less about the story. I spam every cutscene. I stuck around for the gameplay. I could care less about the shitty story. Did you hear they're making a SnowRunners VR game? I did. We showed it the other day on stream, Stealth. Come on, Mo. Right. Sometimes I sit down and I just want to race. Other times I want rich, deep story. Other times, I just want to get lost in the world and not think about anything, right? Some games do all of these things in one game, right? In one game, right? If I want to go play ESO or Skyrim or Fallout, I could go in there and get that story that I want, right? Other times, I could just go around hack and slash things or shoot things in the face because that's what I want to do. Or if I just want to walk around the world and kind of explore, I can do that as well. All I hear is kill the baddie. Everything else goes out the other ear. It's like, hi, how can I help you? Yeah, I don't care what you have to say. Great, kill someone. All right, fetch quest. All right, and you run off. You go do the fetch quest. You go kill the person. You come back and you're like, all right, I killed everybody you told me to kill. What do I get? Sweet. I got the phone of destiny. Woo! What does it do? Gives me +2 experience on my next kill. Awesome. That's it. All right, so Stealth shared this. Mark your calendars. The Xbox Game Showcase will be live streamed on June 9th, starting at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. So we'll be covering that, obviously. Like our double feature last year with Starfield Direct, immediately following the showcase, we'll be airing a special deep dive into the next installment in the beloved franchise. We can't say much so far. For now, it'll all be Xbox Showcase followed by Redacted Direct. Redacted Direct. You think it's Call of Duty? Or do you think it's Starfield? Or is it something else? You guys are saying it's Call of Duty. Did you see the Alien VR game announced? I didn't. This will also be our first showcase featuring games from our portfolio of studios across Activision, Blizzard, Bethesda, and Xbox Game Studio, in addition to titles from our third-party partners. You'll be able to enjoy both our June 9th live stream, live through a variety of outlets and over 30 languages in American Sign Language and English, on YouTube, Twitch, Twitch.tv, Xbox, and Facebook. Airtime on the Xbox Game Showcase followed Redacted Direct is local time zones. So June 9th. June 9th's double feature broadcast also kicks off week's worth of coverage here on Xbox Wire, an official Xbox podcast featuring updates and deep dives on a ton of games. Xbox will also host a premiere viewing event in Los Angeles on Xbox Fan Fest, giving away tickets, enter the Fan Fest sweepstakes, blah, 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 blah. In the meantime, be sure to check out the Xbox Wire for more information on upcoming Xbox Game Showcase. So, There you go. I don't know, Bo. Do you think it would have a standalone double feature? Like what Starfield did last year? That 40 minutes of like just on one game. Can Fable do that? I don't think Perfect Dark could do that. I can maybe see Fable doing it. Gears, not so much. Paul says State of Decay 3, please. Let's see if Xbox has to offer, shall we? Think Starfield multiplayer? I don't know if they would, they gotta get that DLC out first. Which, here's another thing I don't like. Okay? Now, obviously, I didn't buy the DLC. Okay? But, I'll pick it up, right, when it comes out, because I don't even own Starfield. I got a code. And it's on Game Pass, right? So I have to get the DLC for Shattered Space. My problem with this is people paid for this. It'll close in on a year by the time it comes out, right? And I don't like that. I don't like that for any game. Like they market the DLC, Season Pass, DLC, and you pay up front for that game, and yet you don't receive that game for a year afterwards. Redfall, looking at you, still waiting for that. People have paid for that extra content they haven't received yet. Starfield, paid for that extra content. We don't even know what it is yet. But you paid for it, but you don't know what it is yet. Titan says, Gears 6 is early development, I heard. Hopefully Star Wars Outlaws turns out good. I bought it on Steam for PC. Gears 6 is past early development. Redacted makes sense in Black Ops lore. But what are they going to do? Well, didn't they say that Call of Duty, the next Call of Duty, is supposed to be this like open world game? I can maybe see something. Maybe. I don't know if you dedicate... Call of Duty doesn't need a dedicated thing. You know what I mean? Call of Duty is going to sell regardless. I don't think it needs a standalone after the show for its standalone thing. You could show 30 seconds of Call of Duty and people would lose their shit. Hellblade 2 is supposed to be their next big game. Hellblade 2 looks like a Unreal Engine 5.4 demo. I wouldn't call... They even said the game's going to be short. I don't know if it's going to be their next big game. Like, it's their next game. I wouldn't call it their next big game. Argus says the speculation on it is the Redacted is the new Call of Duty. Yeah. I've not seen any other convincing... I just don't see... And again, I could be 100% wrong. I just don't see Call of Duty needing their own 30 to 40-minute show to sell Call of Duty. Morning, Wonder Rose. Hellblade 2 is a hardware tester. Because besides that, Sony has been getting more bangers. What's the last game that Sony got? What was the last banger? Spider-Man. Well, Stellar Blade just came out. Like, you're talking first-party titles? COD has 3 standard modes of campaign. Multiplayer, zombies, and can also stretch out the showtime. Yeah, but my thing is, Titan, does Call of Duty need a 30-minute thing to advertise for Call of Duty? It doesn't. They could literally do a tweet, next Call of Duty's coming out, and people would lose their mind. Call of Duty, but to remind people it's owned by Xbox and likely going to have some release date content tied to Xbox. They said they weren't going to do stuff like that, right? They said they weren't going to do stuff like that, so I don't know. Water says this time the COD campaign will be 45 minutes longer. That's right, it'll be 4 hours and 45 minutes. They've said many things, Mike. I'm just saying, like, has Call of Duty up to this point ever done a thing where they take 30 minutes, 45 minutes to sell Call of Duty to you? Call of Duty shows a commercial, and everyone's like a live action commercial, and everyone's like, dude, I'm going to get that. And they get it, it sells 30 million copies. King Kong gets a price drop. Oh, what happened? Oh, okay. I was like, what happened to my... Xbox has been struggling to bring good new games to gamer? Where are you getting this information from? Where are you getting this information from? They literally... Didn't you just see their quarterly reports? 51% increase on their gaming software sales. Like, what? They always have done things specific to PlayStation, such as early beta access in-game item, timed exclusive modes, Mike. I can see Xbox trying to, despite what they've said. Yeah, I can see it. I'm just saying that they said they wouldn't do anything that would take away from PlayStation. So, I guess all the game features would be there. They're just getting a little early access on Xbox. Right? They're going to be struggling really hard when they earn their first big pot from the new COD. Yeah. I just don't understand where... And Mandalorian, I understand what you're saying, but it's like you put on, for a split second there, you put on your fanboy cap for one console to the next. Right? Like, people look at it and go, well, Xbox is selling less consoles. Okay. But they also have 51% more revenue from software sales. So what does that tell you? Less console sales, but increase on software. Which means more people are playing their games either on Game Pass, PC, television set, mobile phones, headsets, whatever. They could put free skins on Game Pass, and they already started with Overwatch. Sure. But they also never said that Overwatch would be different than PlayStation, Paul. They specifically said for Call of Duty that they would not give a lesser product for Call of Duty on PlayStation. So, they never said that with Overwatch. Travis says, 30, real question. Do you think the success could be why certain companies aren't making good games? Could it be that the more success means less risk-taking? I think that what I've said in the past is that if a game that gets a score ranking of a 9 or a 10, and in the Metacritic score it's above a 90, cost them $300 million, and a game that's in the high 80s to mid 80s cost them 150 to $200 million, I think they're going to go with the $200 million budget 9 times out of 10, because they'll make more money off of that because they don't have to sell as many copies. You know what I mean? Like, so if you want to make a big blockbuster and spend an extra $100 million to $150 million to sell 7 million copies, or have a budget of $200 million and then sell 5 million copies, there's more money in that 5 million than there is in the 7. You see what I'm saying? Did you hear that people play Fallout more because of the success of the TV show? Yes. I've talked about this in the past about, we saw it with Witcher, we saw it with Cyberpunk, we've seen it with there was one more. We saw it with Halo a little bit. There was one more thing that came out. I forget what it was. But yeah, that always happens. This is what I've always been said. They should synchronize movies with games, not to be like the movie game, but to advertise, hey, there's a video game coming out. Oh, and there's a movie in the theaters, or there's a television show coming out. Argus says, I agree, Mike, but it's a corporation, so it could use them to technical jargon wording and get around what... Oh, absolutely, Argus. Absolutely. 100% they can get around it. I'm just saying, specifically, they said that they wouldn't do anything to downgrade the PlayStation experience, right? So maybe the game comes out and everything's the same. But if they get that early access on Xbox or something like that, they can say, look, dirty, you see? Phil said he wasn't going to do anything different. You know what I mean? Like, that's what could happen. Stell says, it's Call of Duty. Here you go. So Tom Warren. In case you're still wondering, the redacted direct isn't Call of Duty. Yes, it's the next Call of Duty game. What? In case you're still wondering if the redacted direct isn't Call of Duty. Okay, yes, it is the next Call of Duty game. I just think that's weird. I just think that's weird. Like, Call of Duty doesn't need its own segment for 30 minutes afterwards. Robert Hode says, direct or redacted Gears 6, 100%. Well, apparently not. Unfortunately, the Gran Turismo movie didn't increase the Gran Turismo 7 sales. But the Gran Turismo 7 movie probably got more people to go see the theater because of the games. How do you start? How do you respond? I already responded. I responded 2 weeks ago when we talked about it. I have a video about it. I have multiple videos about it. Square Enix is expected to recognize $22.1 billion in content abandonment losses. Jesus. Good advertisement for Xbox brand, Mike? That's my best guess. I mean, I guess they're just flaunting their money, right? Or I guess they're like, we own it. Let's show it off. Like, I could see them doing a 5 to 7 minute long segment during the June 9th thing. Not a separate show, but hey, you know, I like to thank them. I like to thank them because now I know I don't have to watch the second half of the show because it's Call of Duty. So obviously we're going to watch it because content. But if it's not Gears 6, throw the whole showcase away. I think they want to keep COD its own by Xbox fresh its people's heads, just from a marketing standpoint. Perhaps. I heard Ubisoft said that they're going to stop Watch Dogs series because it's negative reviews. It was just a mediocre game. We don't have to watch it, but we're going to watch it. Head meet wall. I mean, Travis, I'm a content creator. I mean, obviously, I have to watch it. I also don't want to go to the musical with my wife when she wants me to go, but I got to do that as well because, you know. Watch Dogs overpromised and underdelivered. I don't think they overpromised. When they talked about you could pick anybody and everyone picked the grandmother, I knew that was going to happen. I literally called that out. All right, let's go to the next story. Okay, so Alan Wake 2. Okay. Alan Wake 2 still hasn't earned back its budget. You guys like what I do here? We do these news stories Monday through Thursday. We cover a couple stories, go back and forth with chat. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We do live streams, uploads, gameplay, shorts, podcasts, lots of different content over here. So, Alan Wake 2 still hasn't earned back its budget. Now, Remedy has released its financials for the first quarter of 2024, and while sales of Alan Wake 2 are strong, it's yet to make back its budget, it seems. Okay? So, Remedy Entertainment has released its financial statements for the first quarter of 2024, and it looks like a survival horror sequel, Alan Wake 2, has yet to make back its development and marketing budget. Now, in a statement, Remedy says that Alan Wake 2, which sold 1.3 million copies at its last count, thus making it the fastest-selling Remedy game, has recouped a significant part of the development and marketing expenses as quarter one, i.e. not entirely of said expenses. Now, here's the big thing here, right? I love it, and this is why they market stuff like this. When it sells, and they're like, this is the fastest-selling game ever. It's the most successful game they've ever created, Remedy Studios. It sold 1.3 million copies at the last count. Okay, it's the fastest selling 1 million copies. It's the best selling game they've ever had. It won awards, okay? And yet, they still haven't made their money back. So I go back to just 5 minutes ago when I talk about if a budget of a video game costs, I don't know what, maybe they'll say it in here. If it's $200 million or $300 million, it takes 7 to 10 years to make the game, and it comes out and it needs to sell a certain amount of money, it can't sell, it's a loss. But if they can keep the budget down, they would rather have a mediocre game make more money than a really expensive game that doesn't make it money, right? So let's continue with the story here. However, that hasn't stopped Remedy reporting improved revenue when compared to the same period a year ago. Well, obviously they made more money than a year ago. Did they release something a year ago at that time? Come on. So the Finnish studio says the revenue in quarter one was 10.8 million euros, representing 56.2% increase over last year's first quarter. No shit. Remedy's financial statement also includes updates of studio's ongoing projects, including Control spin-off codenamed Condor, which may or may not be eventually be called FBC Firebreak. Condor is also, according to Remedy, the final development stage before the game is launched. The studio says that the game's core loop is engaging. Well, that's good. When they tell you that it's engaging, it must be engaging, right? And that will bring a unique Remedy angle to the genre, by which it presumably means live service multiplayer shooter. As Control 2, the upcoming sequel, in 2009's mind-blowing bending adventure Control, Remedy says that the project will advance the production readiness stage in the later part of this year. Now, the upcoming Max Payne remakes, meanwhile, will move into full production later in 2024, while codename Kestrel is still being redefined in the concept stages. It will likely be a good while before the latter games are officially unveiled. Now, Kestrel is being worked on alongside Tencent, which has recently increased its investment in Remedy from 5% to 15% of the Finnish developer's shares. Now, Remedy concludes this statement by referring back to the acquisition of the rights of Control from former publisher 505 Games. Now, the studio says it can now choose the best to grow Control and Alan Wake as its own directions, discretion. I'm okay. Discretion, and it expects revenue for operating profit to grow throughout the rest of the year. Now, of course, one of the remedies could generate some more revenue than Alan Wake 2, could also release the game on Steam, but it's also not clear whether that will happen or not. Imagine deciding to take your game and then releasing it on another platform. Why would they do that? Probably because the saturation point is hit in the console department, and they're like, yeah, you know what? Is it worth putting the money into it to then port it over to PC so we can make that extra money so we can become profitable? So in a conference call discussing today's financial results, Remedy is asked outright whether Alan Wake 2 will be made available on other PC platforms, including Steam. Remedy refuses to be drawn into the answer, though, and the studio says that although it acknowledges the speculation regarding Alan Wake 2 on Steam, Remedy has nothing to announce on the front at the moment. Whether or not it appears to remain to be seen, but for now, Remedy's short-term goal will likely be ensure that Alan Wake 2 can turn a profit. Let's hope that the game's upcoming DLC can turn the dream into a reality. The reason they don't want to tell you that it's coming to PC is because the people that are holding off to see if it comes to PC, if they say it's coming to PC, then they wouldn't make the choice to buying it off the console. Okay, now obviously, there's a small percentage of people, okay, that own. I have to make a clarification here because people just don't understand when I say certain things. More people don't own a console and a gaming PC because the other day I said PC. Someone just didn't like that. Okay. Right? A gaming PC. So if you own a gaming PC and a console, you'll probably play on PC if you'll wait, unless the game doesn't come to a gaming PC, and then you would have to get it on console. So majority of the people that do own a console and a gaming PC, then the gaming PC would want to wait because obviously the graphics are better, it would just run smoother, okay? But if they don't have a gaming PC, they would have to get it on console. And Remedy Studios wants to make sure that they can milk and pull out as much people to buy Alan Wake 2 on console as possible before they announce if it's moving to PC. Now, obviously, we don't know the budget of this game. If the cost of this game, and it took, I think, 7 or 10 years to make, Alan Wake 2 here, if it's the cost is too high, they're never going to make that money back, okay? But overall, in the company, they're probably profitable because of other games that they've published that are still making money. And with this DLC, that'll give it another kick up in relevance when it comes out. And people are like, oh, cool, the DLC is really good. You'll get the other people that didn't buy the game, but the people bought the DLC. If it's $30, $40 for that DLC, that's half the price of a video game. So every 2 copies sold of DLC is another copy sold for the actual game and the budget. And if the budget was correct and they made the DLC within the original budget, okay, then they would make their money back in the long haul. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments section down below. What did you think of Alan Wake 2? Do you think it will make its money back after it sold, again, the fastest, the most profitable? This is what they said in another article, okay? Which doesn't make sense because if it's not profitable because they still haven't made their budget back. But I think they're talking about profitability for the company and not for the actual the studio itself, but for the for the publisher. These are just my thoughts. Let me know in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, and subscribe. And if you like what we do here, please check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. Speaking of which, how are you guys liking Skull and Bones? First quadruple A game ever. Yeah, it's not doing very well. Not doing very well. So glad I talked my friend's wife out of getting the game. You're welcome, Travis, because you were full steam ahead for Skull and Bones. Revenue isn't profit. That's right. That's right. There was another story. I could have sworn they had a story a couple months ago. Let's see. Alan Wake 2. Yeah, so they ran this back in February. Alan Wake 2 has sold 1.3 million copies since going on sale on October 27th across the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Wait, is it on PC? Oh, via the Epic Game Store. There you go. Not through Steam. Making it developer Remedy Entertainment's fastest selling game ever. Now, it's interesting that they're not on Steam. So they're on PC. I didn't even know they were on PC. Okay. But yet, it's not coming to Steam and they don't want to mention it coming to Steam. Very interesting. Okay. Right? Here's another one. Has Alan Wake 2 sold well? Alan Wake 2 sold 1.3 million copies to date, making Remedy's fastest selling title to date, which means it's the best selling game, right? It's the fastest selling to $1 million. The game still hasn't recouped its development costs, which are estimated to be around the ballpark of $75 million. That's not very good. That's not very good. Especially since the game was $70, was it not? If it's only $75 million and they sold 1.3 million, what was the price tag? What was the price tag of Alan Wake? Was it $70? Hold on a second. That's 91 million straight right now. How much is the Alan Wake 2 DLC? Okay, Alan Wake 2 Deluxe cost versus DLC cost. Alan Wake 2 looks, and I can't wait to play it. However, it's like, the deluxe version is worth the price of expansion pass, or it's cheaper to buy the DLC separately and it comes out. Typically, much are the DLC. Yeah, but how much is the DLC? Do we have a 2 Deluxe upgrade? $20 for the... Oh, wait. Choose the edition. $79. So Alan Wake 2 Deluxe Edition is $80. So was Alan Wake $60? On PC, it's $50. Was it $50 when it came out, Eclipse? $60 at launch. So it's $10 off right now on PC. So on console, that's on the Epic Store though, right? On the Epic Game Store, it was $60. Or was it $60, Travis, on console? So it was $60. It was a $60 game. Okay. So if it was $60 game, it was $78 million. $75 million, $60 on console. Okay. So $78 million across the board. And if they sold the DLC on top of that, so without any marketing, estimated cost was $75 million to make the game. They've made $78 million. Obviously, they don't get that whole percentage there. So they probably won't make their money back. Alan Wake 2, as successful as it was, probably will not make money. It'll be a failure. That hurts. That sucks. Squanzy. Yeah, 30% store fees. Then you got if did they publish it themselves? Did Remedy publish Alan Wake? Let's see, Alan Wake 2. Developer Remedy Entertainment. Who's the publisher? Epic Games Publishing. Ah. Now that is the reason it's on Epic Store. Yeah, that's the reason it's on the Epic Store and it's not coming to Steam. Now, see? Epic hurt them because they probably would have sold and made money if it was on Steam because there's more people using Steam than Epic Game Store. Now, obviously, hindsight's 2020. Now we know they hurt them. Where it was a successful game, it would have been lucrative for them, right? Microsoft turned them down. So Paul, are we supposed to blame Microsoft for the game not making it? I'm just trying to see the spin that people could do. They're like, yeah, if it was for Microsoft not turning them down, they would have made it. But if they were published by Microsoft, it would have failed, right? You know where I'm going, right? Be like, well, if Microsoft made it. Digital only for console, no physical for Alan Wake. I bet you that was another big chunk of why people didn't buy it, Jax. Right, Eclipse. If Microsoft bought it, see, they didn't buy it, so that's why it failed. But if they bought it, it would also fail, and that's why it failed, right? Yeah. That's the spin people would put on it. All right, I want to get to this. I want to get to this next story. Do these game budgets include marketing? No. 75 million is the game budget. Marketing on top of that, and again, it's usually double that. Usually, it's 1.5 to double that. So, $150 million is probably what they did for marketing total. It's probably like 125 to 150 mil. And then the wording they use, House, is, for instance, shipped and sold. Okay? Shipped and sold. Now, with this digital game, they didn't use the word ship or sold, but a lot of companies, what they do is they say, oh, we shipped 100 million copies. That's not sold 100 million copies, right? They shipped 100 million copies. It's like putting a deck of cards on the table, 52 cards in the deck. We shipped 52 cards. And then everyone grabbed the cards, 7 players each, you know what I mean? But you didn't sell all the cards. So $200 million Spider-Man game only. Oh, yeah, no, the Spider-Man game was $315 million, $320 million. With marketing, it was around like 400 mil. 425. Unless it was a $250 million and they added the marketing on top of that. And that's why it was 350 mil. I'm not too sure. I heard the budget was 350 mil. That's not including... Let me look that up real fast. Let me look that up real fast. Yeah, the most eye-popping reveal here is that Marvel Spider-Man 2 cost $300 million. Yeah, so the game cost $300 million. Spider-Man 2 had a $315 million total budget. It's estimated including marketing. Honestly, though, I doubt it needs that much money for marketing considering the single YouTuber. Yeah, this person doesn't know anything about advertisement. If they don't, they don't know how much you make. Really good money in the commercial space. Okay, so $315 million total budget, and that says it's including marketing. These people have no idea how much people pay for just going to a convention. Here it's, see, this one says different. This one says Spider-Man 2's budget was $315 million, and the marketing budget is another $30 million. There's no way they spent $30 million marketing Spider-Man 2. At least another $100 mil. Easily. Easily. See, there's all these different reports. LA Times says that Spider-Man 2 budget was $210 million. Is that for the movie or for the game? Oh, that's for the movie. That's for Jesus Christ. So you're telling me the game costs more than Spider-Man 2's budget for the film? Holy shit. Spider-Man 2 had a $315 million total budget. Leaked Spider-Man 2 budget was $315 million. Yeah, it's the same stuff. They say they sold over 7 million copies. They say they sold over 7 million copies. They say it is profitable. I'm not sure though, House. The only way we know for sure is when they come out and actually tell you if it's profitable. Otherwise, Paul says, to be fair, I did buy a PlayStation 5 for it. Sold it a week later. Yeah, but Robert, we're not talking about if Spider-Man 2 is a good game, amazing game or not. We're just talking about the budget. At least I'm not talking about it. Yeah, the budget's insane. I don't understand how the game had such a big budget. It's not that they much different than the first one, and had to the first one cost like 180 million. Well, usually sequels go up in price, right? They go up about, I think it's like 30%, 40%. Well, sure. Spider-Man in general is a very successful. I don't believe, like, I had an article or a story months and months ago talking about how they said that moving forward, Miles Morales is going to be the lead, and I said that's a bad choice considering it sold 1/3 the amount of copies for Miles Morales than Spider-Man itself, and the only reason it's a little skewed is because a lot of people bought the combo where it was the remaster with Miles Morales, so that boosted Miles Morales sales more. Okay. But for the most part, it's 1/3 the sales of just Peter Parker Spider-Man. Miles Morales Spider-Man sells 1/3. Sells 1/3 less in movies. It sells 1/3 less in comics. It sells 1/3 less in video games. So I had a video saying it's a mistake if they make it where Miles Morales is the lead. People didn't like that either. Roadkill says, Spider-Man 2 is a great game, but it's also a letdown in a weird way that I can't articulate. Can you... Let's play charades, Roadkill. Sounds like 2 words. It's either Miles or MJ as the lead. Take it or leave it. Don't give me stats 30. yeah. I'm right. I can't give you stats because if I give you stats of factual stuff, I'm racist by telling the facts. You have good reasons, and they're called you racist, but people don't watch your videos. Just read the titles. Sure. Here's the thing. Don't care. People take you out of context all the time. Well, that's why I play a Spider-Man game. Again, I haven't played Spider-Man 2, so I'm not shit-talking Spider-Man 2. I haven't played it. I love the first one. I like Miles Morales. Once I get a PlayStation or once it comes to PC, I will play this Spider-Man 2. But I'm not playing Spider-Man 2 so I can play as MJ. Do you know what I mean? It just seemed real simple. I won't know what you mean, Roadkill, until I play the game myself. But I'll take what you just said there and I'll put it in the back of my mind. So when I do play the game down the road and I'm playing it, I'll be like, oh, I get it now. Or I'll be like, I don't really agree with that. It plays like a charm, but the Force MJ stuff in the second half of the game, not great. Peter's coming to be coming back in 3, and the second one does and also be the main character again. Well, supposedly the next game is Venom, Travis, and they've already said that Peter and Miles both will be playable. MJ is actually better in the second one than the first game. Not as boring. Not as boring. But still boring. Not as boring is what I'm getting from what you said, Robert. Not as boring. Still boring, but not as boring. What am I playing tonight? Probably Fallout 76. It's the weekly reset. And there's an alien event going on. So I'll do my dailies this afternoon, and I'll probably play 76. Unless I play, I don't know what I'm going to play. I'm really hooked on 76 right now. Tomorrow night we're playing Division 2 though. Tomorrow night we're definitely playing Division 2 with Sarge, because the season reset happens for the next, the final chapter in this season for Division. No one said anything about wokeness, Travis. He said that MJ was not as boring. No one's brought up any kind of wokeness because of MJ. He said that MJ was better in the second one, not as boring. Puzzling, average-looking MJ. Who's everyone? And if the game was ruined, then it wouldn't be successful. But it was successful. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if a game is good or bad, as long as it makes the money back that it did to make. Right? That's it. The companies don't care if you liked it or didn't like it after the fact. They just care that you bought it. Robert says, to be fair, no spoilers for everyone who hasn't played it yet, but MJ has her story moment. Let's just say that. Oh, her story moment. Okay. I'm so excited, bro. What a fun addition to the game called Division 2. So excited to play. Yeah. Bang, bang. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure the tail end of the story, Sarge, of walking around New York and not killing the people, but killing the same people to find the things in the world, it's gonna finish strong. Only people I heard bitch about the game was it's woke. Never heard any other reason. That's not true. That's not true at all, Travis. We actually covered why people didn't like the game on this show. And it wasn't because of MJ's looks. Venom DLC coming? El Nino, we read a thing yesterday or 2 days ago? Last week. I forget. Oh, it was on GXG. We read a thing saying that Venom 3 is supposedly not coming out until 2027. Venom is the next game that's coming out for Spider-Man. And rumors is that it's not coming out until 2027. So I don't know if it's Spider-Man 3 or if it's Venom. And I don't know if it's DLC. It's worth seeing a 30-second cutscene after 6 weeks of drag. Well, not 6 weeks. That's 12, because it's every 3, 6, 9. Yeah, 12. 12 weeks, not 6 weeks. 12 weeks. Unless Elmina, you're talking about there's a Venom DLC and then down the road. I like the DLC that came out for the first game. They did that very well. What did they? It was 3? Was it 3 or 4? It was 3. The fourth was supposed to be Miles Morales, but they decided to make it the next game to sell the PlayStation. Wolverine game trailer for Deadpool 3 would be epic. But if you get the PlayStation 5, pick up Stellar Blade. I'm probably not picking up a PlayStation 5, but I will pick up Spider-Man 2 when it comes to PC. The Heist, Silver Linings, and Turf Wars. Right. The fourth one was supposed to be a Miles, because even in the DLC, they talk about it a little bit. And then they decided to make Miles Morales a standalone. Which is why it was called like a DLC. But it wasn't as chunky. and that's why they charge $50. And that's why they added it to. Think about that. Think about that for a second. Miles Morales, a standalone game, was $10 less than a full price game at the time, because it was $60 at the time, $50 for that game, and they decided to add the first Spider-Man game with Miles Morales to make it $70. Okay, so they gave you 2 games for the price of one. And I think the remaster came with all the DLC, did it not? All right, so this next topic we're talking about is we're watching a video from Star Wars Outlaws, the typical AAA games trash. So we're watching Greg Owen talk about Star Wars Outlaws and how Ubisoft basically is forcing you, right? They know exactly what they're doing. They're forcing you to get the Ubisoft Plus, because that's where they're, and I've talked about this. This is why we're bringing him up, because he's talking about it. But I said when it came out, I said they're pricing the way they're pricing the structure to force you to get the $18 a month, right? So let's watch this. Okay.
Star Wars game from Ubisoft represents the very
Hold on one second.
trends in the
so-called
triple from Ubisoft represents the very worst trends in the so-called AAA gaming space, plus a new scummy manipulation. Ubisoft does not want you to buy this game. And I'm not saying that as a joke, like, oh, it's so bad, they're begging you not to buy it. I'm serious. They don't want you to purchase this game for the scummiest reason.
Now, they don't want you to buy the game, hence why it's digital only, right? They remember, Ubisoft is the company that told you that they don't want you to own anything, right? They have to start training you to not, like, getting used to not owning their things.
Season of all. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go through the announcement of this inevitable pile of garbage and how it is the culmination of all the worst parts of the gaming industry.
I hate so much about the things you choose to be.
First up, you've probably seen a lot of talk about this face right here. A large piece of the discourse surrounding this game, and
first off, I just want to say, the people that are nitpicking about the face, there are better looking faces during the video, but they choose to pick the bad points to make their point. So there is that.
Some others recently is the purposeful changing of the female.
But we did have a video talking about, or a live stream talking about, the actress doesn't look anything like that person, but yet the men actors look like their parts.
Male character models. Here is the woman who was used as a reference for the main character. You know, the motion capture process and the power of modern consoles allows for a picture.
Well, it is nitpicking, Reese. When you freeze frame, like, this is the way he looks. Look, I paused him on his face, and I clipped this picture, okay, and say, well, this is, it's nitpicking off one single frame of the overall entire project, right?
Picture perfect recreation of a human face. So whatever was done.
Like, we went comparison, and we got a better looking picture of the character from the game to market against her, not the ugliest one. You see what I'm saying? So when we did our comparison, we showed the best looking model, okay, in the game compared to what the actress looked like, and you can tell that she looks nothing like it. Now, obviously, if you take the worst picture of the game, she definitely doesn't look like the character, and it looks shitty.
Done to this character was done on purpose. And this isn't some conspiracy theory. It's simply pattern recognition at this point. Mary Jane in Spider-Man 2.
There she is.
This androgynous thing.
Everyone for Fable's like, well, you get to make your own character, so.
From Fable, Abby from Last of Us 2, Aloy's Glow Down in Horizon 2. It's clear that there is a concerted effort in the game industry to turn down what some believe to be hypersexualized character models. When the opposite happens, outlets like IGN are up in arms, and weirdos like Gita Jackson in this Inverse article, talking about the new game Stellar Blade, whose character assets are we still saying bootylicious? Is that old? Anyway, Gita says the fact that the main character Eve does not acknowledge her own sexiness is actually damning evidence of gamers Insecurities. Quote, she has no idle animation. She just stands there. She's sexy, but doesn't know it. She's athletic
She's sexy, but she doesn't know it.
and acrobatic, but entirely controllable. If she did know, if she could move for herself, it would shatter the illusion.
The fuck does that mean? These journalists that write stuff, right? If she could move, well, she can't because she's a fucking video game character. You're playing a fucking video game, and you do control them, hence the word video game.
Illusion of many of the gamers championing her because she'd have the agency to be able to reject them rather than simply be controlled by them.
What the hell are you talking about?
Exactly. What are you talking about?
Who are you talking to?
Okay, checking the Twitter. They, them in the bio. Look at how shocked I am. She's controllable because it's a video game.
Yeah, that's exactly right. She's controllable not because of the man, not because of the male gaze, because it's a video game character.
Character. If you don't move the sticks, they don't move. That's how video games
That's exactly right.
work. I know.
I love it. He's got to take us. He's like, I got to calm down. I got to calm down. Yeah. That's how video games work. You take the controller, and if I move this, I control them. I'm not the fucking master of a slave. I'm a video gamer playing a video game.
Some game journalists who wish the characters did play by themselves. Am I right, boys? That was a professional games journalist failing a game tutorial. You know, I'm a professional of getting you to hit the like button. Anyway, the character model in Outlaws looks weird, which ordinarily would not be a huge deal if it weren't.
I mean, Troy Baker doesn't exactly look like Joel because Troy Baker's not modeled after Joel. There's a difference. There's a difference when you scan someone's face in like Keanu Reeves, and Keanu Reeves is Keanu Reeves inside Cyberpunk, okay? Because they want to look at like his what's his name? I forget the other guy from Cyberpunk now. But you know who I'm talking about. Okay. They took the character and then they changed the face to make them look uglier. There's a difference. Troy Baker is a voice actor.
Happening around the same time that we are now discovering
Elba, thank you.
large developers like Ubisoft are lazily outsourcing parts of their development to consulting firms like Sweet Baby Inc., whose founder, Kim Belair, has been in the news for calling gamers picky babies because we don't lap up what she thinks is important. So it's not so much the character models and what they look like, it's the implied insult that gamers are a bunch of lecherous gremlins who need to be taught a lesson about
the male gaze.
You're perverted, barely human.
But the homely heroine is such a
Definitely a butt.
Perverted, barely human.
but
It's a butt.
the homely heroine is such a minuscule issue when compared to the greedy pricing and game design. Of course, none of this should be a surprise, since it is made by such a merdique, dégoûtant company like Ubisoft. Right away, we have a tiered...
This is the problem I have. I have no problem with Outlaws. The developers that make it, Massive Entertainment, that are making Outlaws, I'm still excited about the game. I don't like the pricing. I don't like what they're doing. I don't like the structure. I don't like what Ubisoft is doing and what... This is a test. I've said it when they first announced this. This is a test for the future.
pricing model for digital products. You know, a deluxe edition or collector's edition used to be a physical package with collectibles. That's why they were limited and expensive. Now, a digital super ultra deluxe edition comes with maybe a soundtrack, a half-hearted PDF with some concept art, and an outfit for the game character. A digital change of clothes.
Youngsters, I know you're having fun. I used to have fun myself, but there's something you need to know. Stuff like that? That's a load of crap. That's a load of crap.
Ubisoft says the lowest price point of $70 is the base price. But
Right. The arbitrary, because video games cost a lot of money, we've now decided as a whole of the industry that we're raising the price to $70. Cool. Okay. But now what they've decided to do is that that is also not the full game. The full game is not $70. We've partitioned the game, okay, because they've advertised it already. They're advertising the season pass, the 3-day early access, the mission that they're hiding behind that as well. Okay, so they're telling you that $70 doesn't get you the full game. $70 gets you just the portion of the game.
But as we will see, that is a flat-out lie. $70 is the late version with missing content. The next tier up, the gold...
That's right, well, that's true, the late version, because it comes out on Friday now. But if you pay $40 extra, you too can get a 3-day early access of this game.
Gold edition is the actual base game, which is on time. This game actually costs $110 because that is what gets you the full game, not the one that's intentionally missing pieces.
That's correct.
And you get to play it on launch day, not 3 days late.
That's right. If you pay $70, you're paying 3 days late. Because they arbitrarily made the date Friday, not Tuesday. So now if you pay $70, you're getting the game 3 days late. Okay, you got to pay $110 to get it 3 days on time.
For an extra $20, that's 130 smackaroos for you counting at home. The
Yeah, yesterday, House.
ultimate edition of this single-player game comes with some cosmetic outfits and a digital art book. You know, that's the PDF with random files the dev team happened to not delete.
That's right. The random files that they didn't print out a book. There's no ink on the pages. It's just a PDF file they decided to ship to you.
I point
through the internet, digitally, in a file.
out the single-player part because in a game like Fortnite, you are incentivized to buy cosmetic outfits because other people will see you in the game space. It's the same
No, Robert. They arbitrarily made the date. Games launch on Tuesdays. Most games launch on Tuesday. But they're now telling you that it's a Friday launch date and then charging you $40 extra to get it on Tuesday.
reason any of us wear fashionable anything. But Outlaws is a single-player experience. They are, for $20, selling you digital clothing that will be seen by no one. But the gold tier is the one that I want to rant about for a minute. As I said, this is the base game, not the $70 tier. That's the Temu version. That's the great value
The Temu version.
version. That is an incomplete game that you receive a 3-day late penalty for buying. Here's the thing. Games launch on Tuesdays. Almost always. It's basically industry standard at this point, and Ubisoft mostly abides by it. The overwhelming majority of their games go out on Tuesday, like everybody else, and a handful go out on Thursday. Outlaws is not releasing on Friday with a 3-day early access. You know what 3 days before Friday? Yeah, that's right. It's releasing on Tuesday, August 27th, and you plebs who bought the Broke Boy version are penalized, and you have...
That's right. Here's the thing, Robert. When you buy it on Friday for $70, you're not getting the season pass. You're not getting the extra content. You're not getting the Jabba the Hutt mission. That's only if you buy the $110 version, which is the 3-day early access, which has the Jabba the Hutt extra mission behind that paywall.
have to wait until Friday, August 30th. Now you can use that 3 days to reflect on why you didn't pay your $40 tribute to Emperor Yves Guillemot.
Like, if you're a broke boy, just say so.
Son of a... The other reason that the Gold Edition is the real base game is because it comes with the complete game. Unlike the pared down peasant version, it comes with a bonus! Day 1 DLC! Which is frankly a slap in the face.
Is that really DLC? Day 1 DLC. Oh, you mean a thing that you took out of the game so you could sell it later? Which is day 1 when the game comes out? Now, is that day 1 on Tuesday? Or is that day 1 on the release day on Friday? So, if I buy the $110 version, do I get it that day? Because day 1 is Friday, not day 1 on Tuesday. Tuesday's 3-day early access. That's not day 1. Day 1, right? So if there's any bugs or glitches on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, patch day 1 goes out on Friday when everyone else gets it, right? So am I paying an additional $40 to pay 3 days early access, but I'm only getting that date, that episode on Friday when it comes out on day 1? That's another question I have.
Ace. Ubisoft, can I ask you a question about the average gamer?
Does he look
Right. Do the customers look like a bitch?
like a bitch?
Day one DLC means a piece of the game that was carved away just to be sold back to the player. In this game, you'll be working your way through the Star Wars criminal underworld, and sometimes working for Jabba the Hutt. Honestly, just brief aside, the premise of the game sounds fun, except that it has the word Ubisoft on it.
That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny.
The premise of the game sounds fun, except that it has the word Ubisoft on it. That day one bonus is simply an extra mission for Jabba. It's the most disgusting practice imaginable. If, at launch, you have an extra mission available as a bonus, that only means you removed the mission from the game and you set it aside pretending that it's extra.
That's right.
The $110 base version also includes a season pass. Once again, marketing a season pass for a full-priced single-player game simply tips your hand that these things are already in development and you have made the choice to withhold them in order to leech more money from your audience. There is no justification for planned DLC. That is a glorified microtransaction. Usually, 99% of the time, okay? Some companies hand out massive amounts of free updates and extras, and if they do charge for an expansion that was in development...
Ubisoft has already said that the Jabba Hutt... No, that's not what they said. What they said was, because people were miscommunicating, Ubisoft thought, and I have a video of this, Ubisoft thought that people thought that Jabba the Hutt wasn't in the game. And they came out and said, no, Jabba the Hutt's in the game. We're just taking this extra mission and putting it in the $110 version. And I said a video of going, no shit. We're not worried about Jabba the Hutt not being in the game because Jabba the Hutt's in the game because he's one of the main syndicates inside the game. The extra Jabba the Hutt mission is a paid wall behind the $40 version that you can only get if you pre-order and get the season pass. That's not what they said, Robert. So don't take it out of context. Okay? The context was that we thought that Jabba the Hutt wasn't in the game. That's not what we thought. We know that Jabba the Hutt's in the game. It's the one mission that they took out of the game to put behind the paywall of day one for the extra mission for Jabba the Hutt.
Before launch, that expansion, that DLC, is larger and better than most whole games and wins awards on its own. Yeah, Witcher 3 won Game of the Year in 2015, deservedly, and then in 2016, its expansion, Blood and Wine, won Best RPG of the Year.
Yeah, look what they did with their thing, right? The DLC is almost bigger than the actual game. Hence, look at what Elden Ring is doing with their expansion. That's almost bigger than the game itself as well. That's DLC.
That is the exception, sadly, not the rule in modern gaming. DLC used to be a bonus for a game that performed exceptionally well. The developer already owns the game assets, the code that makes all the controls work. Most of the work has already been done. Not too long ago, a DLC would be announced if a game sold particularly well and the players wanted more, and the developers now had this boon with which to make more of the game. Often it would be a chance to work in some mechanic or characters that ended up on the cutting room floor, and now, hey, we had great sales. Let's dust off those ideas we wanted to implement but couldn't. Now, DLC is already planned and consists of content that would easily fit into the game, but was clearly just held back for extra money.
Which I'm fine with if they hold off to make extra money. What I have a problem with is when it's in your marketing material that here's the game for this set price, and then we have a season pass coming out, but you don't know when that season pass is coming. I've said this before, okay? You pay the money for the season pass up front. It could come out 6 months. It could come out 9 months. It could come out 1 year. There's games that have DLC that you paid for right now that still haven't come out yet, but you gave them the money up front. So if anything from that point on, game goes bankrupt, company goes under, a meteor hits and blows up your house, you don't have that content, but you've spent money on that stuff. You don't get my money before I receive the product. You make product, I give you money. I get product, I give you money. Okay, so if you have a season pass, I'm not giving you the money for that season pass. I'm talking about me. Okay, I will not give you the extra $40 for a thing that might or may not come 6 months, 6 weeks, 6 years. Okay, you make the product, I give you my money. Ubisoft is a scummy company, so they can also blame people who are wanting to support them. Oh, I see now. My mistake. There's more missions for Java. It's just one mission that's paid wall. That's kind of stupid. No, that's not kind of stupid. Don't be nice. It's fucking stupid. Okay? It's an idiotic business strategy, and they do it on purpose because they really don't want you to pay $70 for the game. They don't want you to pay $110 for the game. They don't want you to pay $140 for the game. They want you in that $18 a month subscription service is what they want.
Yeah, I'm gesturing too much. My watch thinks I'm working out. That's how worked up I am. I am an unashamed simp for Hidetaka Miyazaki, who made all the Elden Soulsborne Ekiro games that everybody loved. No. He didn't make you. We tolerate you. I respect there was some experimentation. We were trying new things. That's why we allow you to sit on this council, but you are not granted the rank of master. Miyazaki-san respects his customers, and after Elden Ring was the best-selling game From Software had ever sold by a wide margin, he gave us some free updates and then got to work on an expansion that is dropping on June 21st, and I have no doubt that it will be enormous and will contain entirely new mechanics. It's not going to simply be a section of the game that was clearly hacked off only to be sold back to the customer later, and it will almost certainly be worth the 2-year wait. Toot! Yeah, the hype train has left the station.
Now, obviously, he's a fan of Elden Ring. He's a fan of their game, so he's hyped for that game.
And I am on it, because From Software has earned that. But Ubisoft...
But why would it paywall one mission if it probably has zero effect on anything in consequence? Doesn't matter. Why are they doing it? Your question also goes back to them. Why would they paywall one mission if it probably affects on anything of a consequence? It doesn't. Then why do it? If it doesn't affect anything, then why do it? Why pay for it? Why would they do it? Because they know people would pay for it. They sucker you in to make you feel special that you get to play this mission before anybody else. If people are paying $110 for this game, Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be guaranteed $100, if not more. Oh, for sure. Just to get people to subscribe. They know most won't pay $110 for a full game up front and subscribe $18 a month to forget the subscription and keeps going. Absolutely 100%.
Has not. And what I expect from them and Star Wars Outlaws, based on the DLCs for their other games, is an experience similar to what I had with Borderlands 3. Now, I got sucked into this one because Borderlands 2 was great. I pre-ordered the Super Deluxe Ultra...
Yeah, Eric, I have no... The conversation we're having is not about the game if it's going to be good or bad, right? That's not the conversation we're having, right? I am also excited. This was my most anticipated game this year, right? A huge Star Wars fan. I thought what they showed was awesome. That's not my problem with this. We're talking about Ubisoft and the pricing structure of what they're trying to do and why they're doing it.
For Mega Season Pass bundle, I have sinned. That entire game was a giant disappointment. Oh look, the villains are Gen Z influencers who started a cult.
Don't forget to like, follow, and obey.
But the DLCs were especially terrible. I only played 2, and I barely finished the second. That was Hammerlock's Wedding. They were skimpy, they had no real story, they added nothing to the game. They were cheap cash grabs. And they grabbed my cash, and I'm bitter. Oh, and after the first 4 mediocre DLCs that some of us paid for in advance, the ones that were already in the works well before the game was finished.
Water says, I'm sure the game will be great, but I get more enjoyment sitting this one out and watching you guys stream it and then paying $110 to play. Yeah, but it's like when you look at a television set or something in the store, right? You look at a thing, you're like, oh, it's on sale. It's a good price. And it's a price at like $100. And then they're like, well, if you just go up to the next thing, it's $140. And you're like, oh, but if I just go up another $30, I can get this other television set for much better, and it's just another $60, right? And you're like, they price the other two on purpose to go, oh, well, just an extra $10, an extra $30.
They announced a second season pass with new stuff. And some people who pre-ordered the Super Mega Bundle put
He's talking about Borderlands, right? They had a season pass, and they added another season pass on top of the season pass, right? There's no difference in what Borderlands did, what these guys are doing, and what Tarkov just did with the $150 version, and then on top of that, the extra $100 version that you need to get to play the game to get extra stuff, right?
putting faith in the company and cash in its accounts well before the game released, supporting them ahead of time. We were told those extras would be $30.
Money, please.
Okay, technically, I knew that I was buying 4 expansion packs. It was just a bit more salt in the wound. I just have no idea why everybody hates their CEO, Randy Pitchford, so much.
You're a real fun guy. Fun guy. This is fun. This is fun.
I did not realize how bitter I was about that till I started writing this. Another Ubisoft game that I actually liked, Immortals Phoenix Rising, is also what I expect from Ubisoft in the DLC department. That was a basic reskin that didn't add anything to the game in any meaningful way, and all 3 were very boring.
There you go. He's talking about it from Ubisoft, right? Adding stuff that's not going to be meaningful in any way, shape, or form, but yet they use it to trick you to get the stuff because people, look, there's adults that play games and we understand what's going on for a business sense, but there's a lot of younger people that they just use the marketing material, they use the IP to sucker people in and go, oh, well, if I don't get this, then I'm not going to have the best experience, so I have to get this thing, right? And that's the people they're trying to get, okay? I'm trying to educate people to go, look, you don't need to buy a game day one. You don't need to buy, especially this game, because this game is a single-player game. This is not a Amazon Prime show where if you don't play it, you're going to get spoiled in any way, shape, or form. And yeah, you could ignore people that talk about the game. You're like, oh, and walk away from it, okay? You don't have to get it day one. You don't have to get it week one. You don't have to get it month one. It'll be there. And not only will it be there, it'll be cheaper for you. Just like their last game, Avatar, okay? Skull and Bones. Right now, you get both those games for half the price they were just a couple of months ago.
But why do I keep saying, oh, hey, it's Ubisoft, of course it's crap? Well, this company has a history of poor game design and money-grubbing practices, and what I've seen from Star Wars Outlaws gives me 100% confidence that it will be more of the same. First up, the trailer proudly told us it's an open-world game, and that term has turned into poison, especially when coming from Ubisoft.
I like open-world games. We just talked about this in the beginning of the stream, right? I like open-world games. This is one of the intriguing parts of why I'm interested in this game, right? I've also said in the past that you take a game that I like the IP, Assassin's Creed, maybe I'm not interested in that. But if you take Assassin's Creed and all of a sudden I'm Boba Fett in the same type of structure, same exact game as Assassin's Creed, but now I'm a bounty hunter in the Star Wars universe, I'm interested in that game because I'm interested in Star Wars, right?
Some time ago, they became obsessed with having the biggest open worlds ever in games. Gigantic things.
Yeah, but your scientists were so preoccupied.
Is there a discount for buying the DLC up front? No, because if you don't buy the DLC up front, Jones, and you just wait, you can get the game and the DLC and the season pass when it's all said and done, and you can get it for cheaper than you would if you paid, right? Like, it's $130 for everything, because you have to wait for the season passes to come out and stuff. Okay, but if you wait for the season pass to come out, I guarantee you $50 will get you the whole thing.
With whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
The issue is that those worlds are empty and boring. The Assassin's Creed games have become hugely bloated, full of fetch quests and, oh hey, why don't you just go over to the other side of the map and kill some random...
I can counter this open world by Massive devs? Sure. And I played Division 2. I like Massive, right? They also made the Avatar Pandora. Massive made that. Okay? A lot of the complaints about that game is it's just too open world or whatnot, but it's also went on sale right away.
With zero story and then come all the way back. Oh, and make sure you climb all those towers to uncover the map. Ubisoft games are all the same. Full of the same boring crap. So based on their history, I'm ready for Star Wars Outlaws to be an enormous galaxy full of basic game logic fetch quests and NPCs.
We talked about fetch quests. Fetch quests are fetch quests. Basic fetch quests are the same as really rich fetch quests. It's just about the story. We read that article. We talked about that in depth. Okay, all games have fetch quests, and all quests are fetch quests.
With one line and 3 minutes of travel between points of interest. I'm also ready for a microtransaction store in a single-player game. You can buy cool outfits and gun skins and ship skins that no one will ever see. The fact that the $130 version comes with extra skins means they have an artist.
Yeah, the stuff that they sell for the microtransactions for single-player games, I honestly don't give a shit if I've changed my outfit. I don't. I didn't care about it in Starfield, right? I don't care, and I'm a streamer, and I don't care about my outfits and what I look like, okay? Sure, if you want to get in-depth, like Skyrim did this and stuff, you can change your armor and stuff, but there's, like, perks. But for the most part, if it's a multiplayer game, I can understand the intriguing part of changing your outfit so other people see how cool you are and whatnot. But that kind of goes out the window when you can't earn the stuff and you're just buying the stuff. But for a single-player game, Hence why Spider-Man's so good, because you earn the cosmetics inside the game, and then you swing around with the cosmetic that you like best.
Making outfits. Now, it's possible that you can just earn all these outfits in-game from doing challenges. Or, like their previous Assassin's Creed games, there will be a storefront for you to buy the coolest ones. Also, probably some Imperial credits or some such crap, so you can buy experience boosts or bypass security scanners.
Well, to answer your question, Travis, or your statement, I should say, you say people hate Ubisoft because it's popular. That's fine, but ignoring the companies doing the same shit is not. I hope that's not directed towards me, because my whole channel is literally based on calling out all these bad practices from companies. So, I hope that's not directed towards me.
Or something. If your customer has already paid you full price for a game, and you have an artist making outfits and customizations, your number one best move is to charge them for it. Milk your audience for all they're worth.
See? I told you. They milked you.
But that's where all of this leads. Ubisoft wants to bleed you monthly. As I said at the beginning of the video, they do not want you to purchase this game. They don't want you to purchase...
Yeah, they don't. They don't want you to purchase the game. They want you to get the subscription model. Just like Xbox wants you to get Game Pass. Just like PlayStation Plus wants you to get their games as well. Now, the difference between the business models between Xbox and what PlayStation's doing is Xbox is putting day and date. They want you to get on that. They want you to get on Game Pass. They want you in that ecosystem. Hence why it's digital consoles. Hence why digital games. They want you in the ecosystem. PlayStation also wants you in the ecosystem. Hence why they do digital sales as well, right? Even though you have a disc drive and PlayStation Plus doesn't get day and date, but they also want you. Nintendo, they want you on their ecosystem as well. Hence why they have a subscription model. I think it's like the cheapest one of all. It's like $50 a year for the whole thing. Okay. But they want you to buy digital games, because if you have a digital game, then you're coming back to the digital store, right? If there's no disc drive on the actual thing, the only place you can buy it is here. You're not going to go to GameStop or whatnot. So what Ubisoft's trying to do is, and EA and all the other ones, they're trying to get you in on that ecosystem of the subscription model. Because just like the video I showed at the very end of stream yesterday, okay, they make more money, okay, in that year, within the 6 to 7 months within that year, they'll surpass and overshoot by charging just $2. $2 for 100 people surpasses the 100 people buying it full price, okay? So obviously now times that by thousands and tens of thousands and millions of people that purchase the game, right? Sure, they'll make money off the people that are not thinking correctly and they buy the $140 version, okay? They make that, and that's the one-time fee. But they want more people to go to $18 a month because they'll forget to cancel. They'll be in the game for past a month and they'll like it. Maybe some other game comes in. Maybe they put some other game on there and you're like, oh, I'm playing this game now. I'm playing that game now. This is what Xbox's whole plan is. This is why their revenue is up 51%, because more people are playing on Game Pass or digital or getting microtransactions in games because you're inside the ecosystem. And that's what Ubisoft is trying to make you do here.
Any game. What good are you if you only purchase something once? I mean, maybe you'll...
This is the same company, Ubisoft, said that they don't want you to own anything. They said that people get used to it because you're not going to own stuff.
Buy some of those cosmetics, but that's not good enough. Ubisoft wants to keep dripping you dry for years. So this overpriced nonsense is nothing more than a manipulation tactic to funnel you into their subscription
100%.
service. Honestly, them trying to get you to subscribe, it's just pitiful. When everything exists just to push you into subscribing.
Wait a minute, I gotta subscribe now.
Hello, what have we here?
Hey, look, Someone subscribed. Appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate you for subliminally saying subscribe to somebody and someone subscribed. That was nice of them.
That's right. Look at this handy chart that shows you what an amazing value the subscription is. All of
I got
this
you, Travis. I saw it.
worthless crap that they're giving you with the $130 Ultimate Edition? Well, that can all be yours for only $18 a month.
Just a token.
What made him say that, though? Because he's a YouTuber and he's subliminally telling you to subscribe his channel.
Really a trifle. You'll never even miss it.
But wait, there's more! You also get access to over 100 of their mediocre to terrible games. The list is on their site. You can go.
Like, think about all Ubisoft's games. They're very large and like, look at them, right? Lots of open world games. Valhalla. Let's say you come in, you didn't know about Ubisoft Plus. All of a sudden, you're like, man, I don't have $110. I don't have $140 to get Star Wars Outlaws. You're like, all right, I'll pay the $18 a month. Okay, obviously it's a smart choice, right? You're a person that doesn't have a lot of money, but you want to play games because you want to spurge and relax after work, after a long, busy week of work. You just want to sit down and relax. You're like, I love Star Wars. You sit down, you start playing Outlaws. You start playing it. You beat Outlaws, and you're like, oh, what's this? Oh, Crew Motorfest. That's another big open world game. Valhalla, big open world game, right? Lots of their games are big open world games. Why? Because their plan is if they keep putting bigger open world games, more time you spend in the game and more time you're enjoying yourself, sure. Then you pay another $18 a month. Then you pay another $18 a month. Then you pay another $18 a month. Okay? And that is what they want. They don't want you to cancel. They want you to stay in there. They make it hard for you to find the cancel button.
No, look, there may be a handful that look any good. And you're going to tell yourself, oh, look at these old ones. I used to love those games. And you might download one or two and play it for 30 minutes, and then you realize
it's true. He's not lying right now. You're like, I love that game. 10 minutes in, you're like, I'm kind of bored.
Really hasn't aged that wonderfully, and then you'll never touch it again. I'm not against game subscriptions. I think they can have value.
Absolutely.
I have the Xbox and PlayStation mid-tier. The tiered system is, God, so stupid. But a subscription service can be good in some scenarios.
Absolutely.
What Ubisoft is trying to do with this game is overprice it so that you feel like you're getting a good deal, and they're hoping that you just forget and they get several months or years out of you. That is the end game for Ubisoft. They want to rent
that is coming, Jones. 100% that's going to come.
Games to you.
They're already conditioning you that right now, right? We'll go back to the structure price in a minute, but $70 just gets you these two things, right? $110 gets you these things. $140 gets you these things. But if you pay $18, you get all of that over here.
Monthly.
And more.
They foresee a world where you don't own any games. There was a bit of an uproar earlier this year.
See, there's the article. I was going to look it up afterwards. I'm glad he put it in the video. The new Ubisoft Plus and getting gamers comfortable with not owning their games.
When Ubisoft manager of subscriptions, Philippe Tremblay, said that in order for their subscription service to really take off, gamers are going to have to get used to not owning their games.
So it's about feeling comfortable with not owning your games. We covered this on this channel.
That was the quote that went wild, but he does continue on here saying that he, quote, understands the gamer's perspectives with that, but as people embrace this model, they will see that these games will exist, the service will continue, and you'll be able to access them whenever you feel.
Now, think about the sentence he just said and read. I'm going to read it again to you, just in case. Okay, I definitely understand the gamer's perspective with that. But as people embrace that model, that we see that the games will exist. Oh, will they? They're still going to exist? How's the crew doing? That you literally just shut down. People that actually bought the discs, that own the discs, okay, that no longer can play the crew. How's that working out? So you're telling me, okay, you're telling me that I'm supposed to trust you in saying that the games will still exist, their service will continue, and you'll be able to access them when you feel like it. That's reassuring. Oh, is it? How's the crew doing?
And that's reassuring. But the problem here is that they might not exist as of April 1st.
There it is. Ubisoft is killing the game millions have bought thanks to one of gaming's worst trends, There it is, The Crew.
First, Ubisoft's The Crew is no longer playable because that car game was online required even when you were playing alone. So as the years went by and the multiplayer side died off, Ubisoft understandably decided they didn't want to pay for the servers anymore. But since the single player portion of the game was tied to those servers, customers lost access to a game they paid for when the servers went down. Just imagine you put in your DVDs of...
I don't trust any of them. I don't trust any of them, Akuta Papa. Okay? I just find it funny that Ubisoft says, oh, our games will still exist. That's reassuring. And then just weeks later, The Crew's closing down. Oh, okay.
The Office, and NBC decided, they don't want to support that show anymore, so they just don't work.
No, don't like that.
Now, Star Wars Outlaws will not be online only all the time. You can play the single-player game without interconnection, but you are required to have access to install the game. What this means is that even if you own the physical copy, it's useless to install.
Yeah, but Reese, it doesn't matter even if you own it, right? I own The Crew, but I can no longer play The Crew. I own Battleborn. I can no longer play Battleborn. There's games that I own physical copies of, and I can no longer play them.
Without Papa Ubisoft to approve the install. Not that I imagine the disc version of the game will be any good anyway. Massive day one patches are simply par for the course in the AAA game space. AAA is outdated. Ubisoft tried to coin
There it is, that quadruple A game.
Triple A. So what do? AAA games are trash, and they keep pushing newer and more brazen monetization tactics on you while delivering games that are worse and worse, to the point that you wonder if it was a prank release and the real working version is coming tomorrow or something. The answer is simple. Stop buying. Stop pre-ordering. Stop participating in any kind of storefront.
I heard it's a licensing with real cars, but how does that affect... How does me playing a video game of cars that are licensed in a video game, how does that affect their bottom line for car companies? I don't know. You might be right, Eric. I'm just wondering, how is that possible?
Especially when a fake digital currency is involved. Stop signing up for game subscriptions just for one game. Stop buying AAA games until they prove their worth, and quit treating you like a resource to be harvested over and over. But what will I play?
B says The Crew, who cares? It's old, and there's also 2 games that surpass it. Yes, I bought it, but I was going to move on to get more. You're taking it completely out of context. In the context of what we're talking about here in this conversation that we're having, B, is that Ubisoft themselves says that you have to get comfortable not owning your games, and that we're not taking games away from you, and they're going to work even after the fact. We can assure you this. And then The Crew doesn't work anymore. That right there is against what they just told you to trust us. All your stuff's going to work. You just got to get used to not owning it. So you coming in here going, well, who cares about The Crew? It's not the point about The Crew if I want to play it or not. The point is that I own the disc and I can no longer play it. That is the point. That is the scumbaggery of the companies telling you that they're not taking stuff away from you. Trust us, and then take stuff away from you.
You ask? That's an easy one. Small and medium-sized developers are making games you would not believe are so good. Right now, I'm finishing up Tunic. At least
Tunic's a great game. Great game.
I think I'm finishing up. It's kind of hard to tell where you are in that game. Admittedly, I don't love the start of this one. They're going for like a Dark Souls opaque mystery, but I think it's a little too frustrating for...
This is a fantastic game.
No reason. But once you run past all the enemies in the
Yes, Rose, thank you.
beginning, and you get the sword and not the stick they give you, then you're good to go. And once you realize there is a hidden layer to this game, you'll be playing it with a pad of paper next to you like it's 1993 and you're trying to escape the island of Mist. It's excellent design, and it's so much fun to play. Also, anything made by Supergiant. I've talked about them before. They're a bit larger now, but that's because every single title they have made
Lion Cola?
banger.
Wait a minute, is that... No, he's showing content from somebody.
That's because every single title they have made is a banger. My personal favorite is Transistor.
B, that's fine. That's fine. Earlier in the show, I talked about I love open world games. Love open world games. Okay? But coming in here and taking out who cares about the crew, that's not the point. The point is that they're taking games away from you. I don't care if you are a Ubisoft shill.
Your sword talks to you in the most soothing voice.
Transistor, thank you, Clips.
Their follow-up to the extremely popular Hades is coming to early access this quarter. As I write this, a live technical test came out. It looks amazing. I've mentioned Lies of P in the past. This one is so good, you might think FromSoft actually made it. Moon Studios makes the Ori games. Though they are now owned by Microsoft, these games are fantastic.
Yeah, this is another great game.
There's so many good games that you haven't heard of because they aren't Call of Battlefield Assassins NBA current year.
Oh, wow, that's a good title. I want to hear him say that again.
Heard of because they aren't Call of Battlefield Assassins NBA current year.
That's a hell of a mouthful of a title of a game.
You owe it to yourself to try them out. And this is where a subscription can actually bring you value, just not the one from Ubisoft. There's a debate whether Netflix-style subscriptions are ultimately good or bad for the industry and us players. I might address that in another video, but for now, I'm just going to tell you my personal favorite is Xbox Game Pass. If they had an affiliate program, I would have a link for you below, but they don't. So this is just me telling you that I pay for this and I use it. If Sony ditched the stupid tiered pricing system and made their library interface more user-friendly, maybe I could one day recommend them. But for now, Game Pass is an excellent value, and it has a bunch of...
It's an excellent value for what you're getting for the price point, right? For the price point. Again, we've had this conversation in the past too. Where does that price point go? How high will it go before people are like, that's too much, right? Is it 20? Is it 25? Is it 30? Like, what is that price point?
Of smaller games that maybe you wouldn't have taken a chance on or even noticed. But I think you will be pleasantly surprised with many of them. What's a smaller game that you think more people need to know about?
Deep Rock Galactic. It's a good game. Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. That's another small game that people should know about. That's a good game as well.
Spread the love in the comments. And if that tidbit earlier about Sweet Baby Inc. made you want to know more, well, I've got a whole breakdown right here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time.
I never watched him before. It's good. I like his professionalism, and I like his video. It's a good video, so we'll give that a like. We'll give that a subscribe. Yeah, I've never watched him before. So, I thought overall good quality. Yeah, so the pricing structure. Let's go to this Star Wars Outlaws. Let's go to... Now, we talked about this 2 weeks ago when it came out, but obviously we watched this video. It was a good video. See, like, this is meant for you to pick this. Everything about this is to pick this, okay? The structure about it, the price going up, and then the last one that you look at, you read left to right. Okay, you see the staircase where you see the value that you're getting. You're like $70, but I'm only getting the base game and the pre-order bonus. But if I pay $110, I get the base game, pre-order bonus, 3-day early access, and the season pass. But what your eyes see is 2 extra things, right? Without even reading. You're like, well, this is 70 and this is 2. This is 110, I'm getting 4, right? But if I get 130, I'm getting 7, okay? But for $18... I'm getting all of this, plus I'm getting 100+ games for PC games, included in new releases, right? So it's day and date, okay? So it's 100% psychological to make you choose this one over here, okay? Look, and they even highlight it in blue. So when you look at this, okay, you see it. You're like, oh, $70. You're like, oh, I'll pick up $70. Oh, wait, pre-order bonus. What's that? Oh, okay, so cosmetic packs. Okay, speeder buy. 3-day early access. Okay, play the game up to 3 days before. Okay, oh, I get the season pass. The season pass. 2 DLCs that will release after launch. Keeping exploring the world of Star Wars Outlaws with all new stories, quests, and area to discover. But you don't know when you're getting that. You do not know when you get that. Okay? And that's other companies that do the same shit. Starfield, you paid for the DLC ahead of time. Still haven't heard anything about it. You're going to hear about this summer, and it'll come out probably 1 year after you paid for it. Okay? Redfall. Haven't seen the Redfall update, right? Where's the expansion packs that they said they were going to come in the game? Still haven't done that, and people paid $125 for that. Okay? Still haven't gotten that yet, right? Lots and lots of games you pay for stuff ahead of time, and you don't receive that product. Okay? So now you look at like Suicide Squad. They didn't even charge you for the season pass. You're just waiting for it to launch. Okay? What's worse? Paying $125 and then waiting for it to come out, or not paying for season pass and then waiting for it to come out? That's for you to decide. Okay? And then the season pass here, it says the Jabba's Gambit exclusive mission available at launch. Okay? Available at launch. So I'm assuming day one, 3-day early access at launch, and not day one, Friday at launch. Okay? But that mission right here, this mission, is not available for everybody. It's only available if you get the $110 version. Okay? So all signs of this is that they want to push you towards getting the Ultimate Edition. Kuda Papa says people are so weak, psychological marketing, they influence it by without even knowing it. Absolutely. Yeah, up to. That's right. Season pass means you need to sub for 1+ month. Correct. If anything, the season pass gets you in for 3 months. Minimum. You get the season pass, 3 months. Meaning if you get it and then cancel, get it again and then cancel, and then get it last time and then cancel, you're getting 3 months out of you. Okay? Well, 18 and 18 is 36. Okay? Plus another 18, right? You're almost, what is that, 62? Is that what it is? Plus tax, right? Right? They got $54 out of you. With tax, they got you $60. Okay? And that's if you buy nothing else. Buy nothing else. But if you're on the subscription service and you happen to start playing Valhalla, you like Valhalla, right? Then all of a sudden maybe you get a microtransaction there, you get a microtransaction here, you get a DLC there. The one thing about Ubisoft Take Avatar Frontiers of Pandora is the DLC says coming summer of 2024 and fall of 2024, so it's telling you when begin looking. Yeah, but why pay for that up front? Why are you paying for that 8 months ahead of time or a year ahead of time? Would you loan someone money, okay, and not get it back within a pretty reasonable time, not a year, right? Now, obviously, they're not asking for an investment. They're asking for your money because of a product. Well, you haven't seen that product yet. So in what world do you pay full price for something and then not get the actual product? Besides gaming. I don't know about you, but I use Ubisoft Plus on all new releases. Honestly, don't care about owning one and done games after a month. Sure, Paul, but that's a specific thing for you, right? But a lot of people, even if you own a game now, you don't own that game. A lot of people still want to own that game. Even if it's the minority of the people, they still want to own a game. And even when you buy a full-fledged game, disc and all, you still don't own that game anymore. Right? If people don't want to own the game, cool. That's your choice. Right? You want to rent a game, and awesome. But if you want to own a game and I buy the disc, I should have that game to play in the entirety of whenever I want to play it. Not if they shut down the server, I can no longer play it. Oh, absolutely. Paul's using it to effective of what it is. He's doing exactly what you should do with like Disney Plus, Netflix, and all the other streaming services, right? You get Netflix for that month. You binge watch the shows that you want to binge watch. You stop paying for it, and you don't just keep going paying for it even though you're not watching it, right? And then, oh, he wants to watch a show on Amazon Prime. Then he gets the Amazon Prime, right? That's what he's doing with Ubisoft Plus or Game Pass or anything else, and that's smart. I'm just saying that there should be a choice, okay? Instead of forcing me to, I have to get this, and then you don't own it. season passes or DLC shouldn't be announced until after. I'm okay if you exactly what you just said, Travis, and I've said this in the past. I'm okay if you have DLC for your game, right? But just market the game. Make a game, sell a game. You make that game, you sell that game. That game is it's good. You focus on that game. Now you release that game. The game's been out for 2 months now. All of a sudden, now you start ramping up and going, hey, super excited. It's a big hit. So much so that we're working on this DLC. If you want this DLC, get it now, right? And then you start promoting the DLC, and then you start promoting the season pass, right? Or whatever else down the road. But if you start announcing your DLC before launch of the game, what that shows me is that you cut that from the main game, you made some DLCs about it, and now not only are you charging me, you're giving me less for my money up front. I have to wait for the DLCs, and you're asking for that money up front for those games and for that DLC before it even comes out. I don't understand why some games shut down servers. An example, I can literally load up Xbox right now and play the original Gears of War online and have zero issues. For certain games, for first parties, you don't have a problem. For third-party games, a lot of it goes down to licensing. So, for instance, Ultimate Alliance, you can't buy those games or play those games unless you own that disc still, and you have to play it on the older systems, right? And some of them are delisted, like you can't get them. Okay, some of them are backwards compatible. Some of them goes with licensing and stuff like that. So, if the Marvel's license ended, you can't play that anymore. Right, so they have to get rid of it. Hence why you can't buy Marvel's Avengers anymore. You can still play it, but you can't buy it anymore. But if you own the disc, you can still play it. For now. When I bought the AC Odyssey for $12 and I got the Gold Axe Deluxe Golden Game of the Year edition, I played it, I enjoyed it, but the Busted Nest cartridge, if I can't play it, that's the breaks. Philly Any Games shutting servers should release a server file so people can run the game. Exactly, Hilly. Like if a game is closing down, let me download it and I can put it on my and anytime I want to play it, I can access it. Like it's so funny to me. Battleborn, the game I keep bringing up all the time, right? It had a single player game, sort of like a roguelike type of game, right? Because every time you played the mission, you would go up a different level in the DNA thing. Okay? The minority was the MOBA. The more popular thing was the single player game, but they closed the whole game down because of the MOBA, not because of the single player. Any chance we see Ultimate Alliance 4 this year? I don't know. I don't know. Even Ultimate Alliance 3 didn't sell very well. I mean, personally, I would love to see an Ultimate Alliance 4, but I don't know if we see one. Well, you still can play Star Wars Galaxies right now, Travis. There's literally a whole servers that you can still play it. So if you really wanted to play it, it's there for you. See, water gets me hyped up. Says, "Oh my God, Ultimate Alliance 4 cross-platform, cross-play using Unreal Engine. Let's go!" Yeah, that's like you give me an Ultimate Alliance with the graphics of the Marvel's Rivals that are coming out. Water, sign me up. Right? Sign me up. That's a pre-order right there. You show me those graphics. I don't know if I pre-order it, but I definitely would buy it. Unless it was free to play. Then I would be like, uh-oh. Uh-oh. I would kill for a Marvel game that's like Tekken or Soul Calibur. What do you mean, like a fighting game, like Marvel versus Capcom? That's a great game back in the day. You know, we're supposed to. I might have gotten one. Actually, let me look up my email on my phone. I might have gotten one because I signed up for it. I know they were sending them out. I haven't checked my email in like a day or two. What is it under? Is it under, is there a title for the email? I don't see it there. Let me check my other one. I don't see it. Nope. It's an NetEase? Yeah, I don't have anything. How to fill out a survey. See if my PC is good enough. I wonder if people can stream it. I'd like to watch it. Are people really... I saw a thing yesterday about Grums, the guy that used to work for Blizzard, who's on this crusade for Sweet Baby Inc. and whatnot. And someone said they would pay $20,000 to, take him out to dinner. And I was like, are we fucking kidding me? Take the dinner part out. Those of you that are lost. Got yours Friday? Oh, you're talking about the First Ascendant. Yeah, the First Ascendant. They have a beta coming out at the end of May. Well, someone I just saw on Twitter, Roadkill. I just saw on Twitter that someone upped it 10,000 to take him out to dinner, which is just like, people are stupid. Like, everyone thinks they can say or do whatever they want without any repercussions. And then when they get called out on it, they're like, I was just joking, bro. Wow, everyone's just so uptight. I was just joking. That's right, Z. That's right. I'm trying to see if there's any other news. Doesn't look like it right now. Any other news stories we'll push to tomorrow morning. Tonight we'll probably be playing more Fallout 76. So if you want to come out and hang out while we're walking around the wasteland, come on by. Last night I was joined by Mr. Luke. He stayed up till like 3 o'clock in the morning to play with me. I don't think he's doing that tonight. So, come out. It's fun. We just I'm looking to upgrade my guns and my weapons and stuff. Do events. Get the legendary cores to upgrade my stuff. I'm level 125, 26 now. What restaurant? Does it include the cost of dinner? Yeah, $30,000 to take him out to dinner. Yeah. Yep. Red Lobster? Yeah, you could go to the Red Lobster. Yeah, some crazy social media guy He's a poor as shit. And they also say, take the guy out to dinner. And he goes and finds out the other guy is there and the whole world is in trouble. 76 is such a time sink. I need to avoid it. But it says, nope, play me and nothing else. I mean, I can go play something else, but I'm really enjoying the time that I'm playing inside of Fallout 76. I appreciate that, Eclipse. All right. You guys have a great rest of your afternoon. I appreciate it very much. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We do this Monday through Thursday. Cover news stories, have conversations back and forth. I appreciate you very much. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We do uploads. Uploads happening at 1 o'clock today about the Tarkov thing that we talked about yesterday. That's happening at 1 o'clock. Also, a short is going live at 1 o'clock as well about the same topic. So I appreciate it very much. Make sure you guys check out those videos. Hit the likes on those things. Help us out here. We are a very, very, very small channel. But I really do appreciate every single one of you guys that comes out in the mornings. We peak at sometimes like 40 or 50 people. So I appreciate it very much. You guys have a great rest of your afternoon. Peace.